Payphone by Maroon 5 is significant. Just came back in the house. My dog then broke off of this yellow leash. Yellow is very significant. This little girl. I'm in a payphone trying to go home. Alright. Let's get a message for whomever is to come across this video. My energy will not intercept or interfere with this message. I will not take anything personal. I'll just give a message that needs to be said. Oh, let the divine support me, speak to me. Along with my highest self. My highest self only, I share. Thank you, thank you. What is the message here? I'm using front and back for the collective. Flip out in any way that you like. What is significant? Genuine. Alright. You could be a genuine individual, or this energy is going to be coming in, especially after a period of time of dealing with people who were empty, you know, you felt incomplete, disappointed. This energy is coming off genuine. All right, it says you are seeing signs, okay? It could have a lot to do with moving forward from things, like falling, but getting back up. Maybe this is also a confirmation to remain your genuine self. Don't ever feel like, oh, well, I'm constantly going through this stuff with other people. I'm just going to treat them the same. I'm just going to be operating, because if that was you, you would already be doing that, right? But I feel like the trauma or the heartbreaks is what causes this. But confirmation, anything that's negative is false. Jonesy. It says do it for you, not them. Similar to forgive for self. You know, it's not necessarily forgiving because of other people. It's just forgiving for you. The 8th or the 10th could be significant. Maybe the next 10 months to 8 years could be significant, especially the past 10 months, 8 years. Somebody came in with the name Forever Blessed, and that's true. No matter what happens in your life, okay? Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes you experience things that are uncomfortable, but it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Thank you for double tapping. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 could be very significant. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, 4, 5, 7. All right. Candle magic, rituals, and manifestation is going to be very significant. Maybe some of you guys could do you know, your loves, not love spells, but let love come in. All right. Don't try to force it. A lot of times, if something is not going a particular way, it's just simply it's reasons to things. There's always a bigger picture. All right. Whatever is meant for you, it won't miss you. But on another note, manifesting could be a thing. Magic, candles, rituals, you have magic within you, and there's magic all around. All right. Know that things outside of yourself is just tools. You can literally speak something into existence instead of having to do this, and that, right? But we're connected with the elements, so it's fine. You can use fire, you can use water, you can use crystals, you can manifest, you can do all these things. All right, this is a Maroon 5 playlist, so they could be very significant. At least 5 people could be significant. All right, today is November 17th. It's a Monday. It's currently 4:28. Maybe you can take the time out of your day to do some type of chakra healing or focus that surrounds on the energy of Monday, or whatever you prefer to do. All right, new beginnings are significant. 111. All right, tell me more about this candle magic, rituals, and manifestation energy. It says, don't entertain ignorance. And then on the back, it says, protect your energy. Don't stoop to their level. Yeah. So this is literally confirmation after confirmation. So like I said, if you want to do some mirror magic, go in the mirror and speak some positive affirmations over yourself. You could do that, whether it's in the form of beauty, like I love myself, I am beautiful inside and out, whatever you want to do. Know that whatever you manifest, and if there's any blockages that's surrounding this manifestation from coming in, you may experience certain things in your life that's going to trigger some things in your life. Like for instance, if you are manifesting a soulmate, some things in your life may break down so that this person can come in, whether that's you need to focus more on self-love, self-care, mastering, you know, these things so that you won't be in a low vibrational energy for when this person comes in. Because like I said, a lot of you guys are attracting the energy that you're in, which is a genuinity. All right. Protective energy. So, yeah, Sam. Sam's name is significant. Maybe somebody's name is Sam, or the letters S-A-M could be significant. It doesn't have to be all together. All right, it says beware of haste, temptation, and desperation. We just got done talking about that. And on the back, it says trust yourself, trust your vision. Okay? Regardless, there's so many beliefs and things that people do in the world. Create your own bandwagon and follow that, all right? Because you may be leading yourself to something that's fulfilling that also can tie to your purpose and your destiny. Something that you're meant to experience. Okay? I just really wanted to pull a few of these. Yeah, you could be experiencing some type of creative blocks as well. So your dreams, your imagination, and when I say dreams, maybe your little dreams could be significant, or, you know, like dreams such as what you wish for in life, what you know, wish fulfillment, goals, aspirations, those type of things. It says you bring out the best in them. I feel like it's really important to indulge in your creative pursuits because this really shifts something within you. Obviously, indulging in things that are good for you is really, really going to be great, especially if you're experiencing stress, depression, confusion, etc. Like helping yourself do at least 5-minute journaling or 10-minute meditation or going out into nature, taking a walk for 15 minutes, like anything to help, okay? That movie, I can't remember what's the name. I think it's called Song, Love Song. What is that song? I mean, what is that movie? And Miley Cyrus stars in it. She usually came up as this rebel who had father issues. So maybe you guys are rebels, you have father issues. But she met this boy who bumped into her. He spilled milkshake or something onto her. Or a milkshake got spilled onto her when he bumped into her. He was playing some type of sport. I don't remember if it's volleyball, or maybe volleyball could be significant for you guys. But that movie, The Last Song, I believe that's what it's called, is very significant. All right? Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your passions. Don't give up with who you are because people are not reciprocating the energy. You will connect with people, okay? It says they're bothered, not your problem. Do you, right? Don't allow other people to change you for the worse, and don't allow yourself to sit in low vibrational energy. It's fine to be angry. It's fine to be sad. Find a positive outlet and then get back into your day-to-day. Say, oh, she will be she will be loved. Yeah, it's all about growth and gratitude. A lot of you guys are needing to do some balancing out with your chakras. Thank you for double tapping the screen. Whatever is meant for you will find you. Whatever you're meant for, you will find it. You will come into connection with it. Just be aware of temptation, desperation, and haste in any area of your life. Okay? Be slow to anger, right? Turn weaknesses into strengths, right? Yeah, we got instinct. Now, instinct, intuition is very different than a hasteful choice or decision, right? Trusting yourself, trusting your vision is always great, right? So that has nothing to do with it, but your instinct is very significant. Let's get more energy on that. Some of you guys, maybe your instincts is a bit faded. Like I said, when you're confused in one area, 9 times out of 10, you're confused in other areas, right? I realized this based on my own wisdom. I realized if you're a certain way in a particular aspect, you may also be that way in another situation, right? For instance, if you have codependency issues when it comes to family, 9 times out of 10, you'll have it in your romantic connections, right? That's just an example. Yeah. So insecurities are very significant. That's why I feel like renewal is here, as well as self-worth. So just doing some work around self can help a lot with your peace, with balancing out things. Confirm instinct. Yeah, mysticism. I feel like you respond always in this mystical way. Something very unique and magical about you. And I feel like you always respond in these ways. Maybe you're still figuring out just how powerful and magical you truly are. But you'll never know, right? If you don't give this love to yourself, nurture yourself, tell yourself how amazing you are and abundant you are, and you know this and that, right? You're gonna have to have a certain level of high self-esteem. Don't feel guilty. Sometimes you learn how to dim your light and not step on anybody's toes, but you don't purposely do this. You're not conceited, all right? Having a good sense of self or high self-esteem is good to have. Jonesy, stop. The earrings I have on are in the form of hearts. So I know that love, whether it's self-love or just love overall, can really just be significant. And since Maroon 5 was the energy that I was channeling, I know that love in all forms can be significant, even if you've experienced heartbreak or whatever the case may be, right? Love doesn't have to be painful, though, right? Love doesn't have to be painful. Is there any more messages when it comes to this instinct energy? Some of y'all, your instincts is perfect. You need to trust in yourself more. Just be mindful. It's time to deprogram to reprogram. Because some of you guys could be responding or acting in a way that's hindering your sense of self, self-worth, etc. So I don't feel like this is justice to your spirit, mind, body, soul, and your heart either. Set strong boundaries. All right, be assertive. You don't have to curse people out and get in your feels about certain things. It's fine to be sensitive. It's fine when you're this earth angel, but just learn how to once again choose your battles and turn weaknesses into strengths. Be more assertive, right? We all have emotions. It's fine if you have them. Just be mindful of because some of you guys, your instinct could be naturally a forgiver or this mystical being, etc. So in certain cases, this is actually powerful and great because this can really help a lot with self. But just be mindful of instincts that you have that are not the bestest reflexes or instincts per se. What do you have to do to get on the list, to get in line? You can just let me know what kind of service you would like. I do life coaching, I do questions, I do tarot. So if you would like a reading specifically, then I have $50 readings and $10 questions. If you can't afford my prices, you're more than welcome to send in anything you are able to afford. And whenever you do send in your payment, which is in the link in my bio, you just scroll all the way down until you see payment options. I have Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Chime. I have Apple Pay, different payment options. So whenever you do send, we can get started on you, or I'll let you know that you're in the queue and I'll be able to get started on you. You also have the option to let me know if you want the live, the reading privately as well. All right. This lady is unclothed, okay? And she's looking at her reflection in the water. I feel like you guys are really needing to get vulnerable with self, more connected with self. Be the hunter, not the prey, but not the hunter in a way that, you know, it's just heavy emphasis on not being the prey, right? Not being your biggest downfall, because a lot of times we point the finger at everybody else. Oh, they made me mad, or oh, this is da-da-da. Be gentle with yourself. A lot of times you have all this pent-up stress and all of this other stuff because of things that possibly wasn't learned. Maybe you didn't know what self-love was when you started off. Maybe you didn't get taught how to heal if you were to go through a particular situation, right? But now the best thing is you now know, right? No need to sit in that energy. Oh, well, I didn't get taught this, da-da-da. You know, just give the answers to yourself, because we always have them. God is within and all around, right? Trust is also on the back of the deck. It says, I can't really show you this, so I'm going to cover it up. With this energy, emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment, okay? We talked about this. I love the synchronicities, all right? You guys could be seeing a lot of synchronicities. On the front, we got transformation, okay? Trust yourself and watch this new beginning. Look, watch this new beginning. All right, Asia, I have you on the list, honey. Doves are very significant. It says a new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. New version of self. New things that you're going to be doing. New sparks of inspiration. All right. With transformation, it ended up coming out. Some confirmation. It says your relationship with one another is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. Whether this is family, romance, friendship, or a relationship with yourself, this is the energy that I'm picking up on. And I was getting this more personal energy. You know, whenever you're doing this personally with self, of course, it's going to be able to transition towards other people outside of yourself. Maybe that's why they say, oh, I can't help anyone until I help myself. I can't love anybody until I love myself. You know, because when you get to a certain level of what you do for yourself, how you show up for yourself, etc., you won't people please. You'll have stronger boundaries. It doesn't mean that you love anybody less. You're just loving yourself more, right? So I know that this is really big on that relationship and connection with yourself regardless. All right. Anything that's negative is false energy is a quote by Lenisha. That's me. All right. If you guys want to give me a follow, that would be great. If you want to leave your feedback on my website, the link is in my bio. You just scroll down to name and comment and you leave your feedback there so everyone can see, including myself. I always appreciate the feedback. If you're in the live right now and you want to get a reading, life coaching sessions, anything like that, you can also book a free consultation so I can tell you more about my services. I also do child services. All right. We have one person on the list. So if anybody else would love to get on the list is open. We're open 25/8, 24/7. Okay. If you are unable to get in touch with me, you can always DM me. You can reach out to me any way that you know how, even if it's commenting under a post, all right? I make sure I check my notifications daily and throughout the days. Pisces energy could be significant. I'm just getting this energy of you'll feel more safe. You'll feel more, just balanced and at peace if you're tending to yourself first. Okay? You gotta tend to you. You gotta tend to you. And the great thing is, as you're navigating through the world and as you're on this journey, on this path, you learn as you go. That's the most grandest thing about it, because you don't get a blueprint right when you come into the world. You come into a family and they raise you however they know, you know, and eventually you possibly come into your own thing. But you got to remember, those same beliefs and model figures and everything else is still somewhere tapped in with that subconscious, but also the other version of yourself as well. Free your inner child, heal your inner child, dream big, because a lot of you guys, your inner child, maybe your child is very significant. You have a lot of trauma, even in your adolescence, right? You gain trauma. So it's really important to tend to yourself in these times, and I promise you, you will show up very differently in the world. A lot of things won't get under your skin. You will be able to be more clear on where you want to go, how you want to go about it. You will know yourself, truly know yourself. Sometimes we think we know who we are until we journal and go back into the journal a year later, like, I wrote this, or, you know, whatever the case may be, right? There's different things that I could say. This is a beautiful reading, all right? It says, be aware of what you are projecting, for the qualities you admire in one another are qualities you both possess. Wow. Equally so, the qualities you don't like are also your own reflection, right? So love your shadows, okay? Love your shadows. I know some people think, oh, we can't be 100% healed, so da-da-da. Those beliefs are very limiting, because you're always going to feel like, I can never fully really be healed. I will always still have some type of trauma or pain or something. You can't hold on to beliefs are not all the time factual, okay? We come into this world, nobody really knows the truth, right? Me, that's what I personally feel. If you don't feel that way, you don't have to take that, all right? I'm not here to project on you. I always recommend you guys having your own mind and not taking on everything. I don't care if they're a high priestess. I don't care what they call themselves. I don't care if they 80 years old, okay? Trust yourself. Trust your vision. My head is itchy, sorry. But yeah, maybe a cleanse, right? Being aware of certain chemicals and everything else that you intake as well, whether it's in your hair, right? I found out that shampoo and everything else is not even that good for our hair, you know, and other things that we, like toothbrushes that we use on our teeth, like the basics that you've learned, right? So it's like you're shifting, you're transforming, and it's like you still holding on to, I'm telling you. So it's important to deprogram, to reprogram, and to please release resentment, okay? This is blocking your perception. This is interfering with possible transformation. Or maybe that has a lot to do with your trust, that's interfering with some type of transformation, or all of the above. I know that there was some dishonesty. I know there was some type of legal situations. I know there was some type of injustice. I know people lacked accountability on their end. I know it seemed like everybody was very corrupt. It's okay. You're not alone. Forgive people, for they know not what they do. Okay? This is not about everybody else. This is about you. You don't have time to carry around bitterness and this, and that. A lot of times the people who do hurt you, they won't be the ones to heal you, baby. So you're extremely abundant, and I promise you, the better energy you're in, the more you will see it and the more that you will feel this. And honestly, the more you will be at peace. All right, I'm seeing some type of renewal coming about. Maybe this is encouraged, or maybe you guys are already, this is literally happening before your very eyes. You know, it's a beautiful thing. You know, a lot of times we don't see that we're healing and moving on until we realize, oh, I'm actually not in love with that person anymore. Oh, I'm not crying anymore about that thing that I thought I was going to be stuck on forever about. Or, oh, da, da, da. You know, there's stages, there's levels, and there's also a process. Be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, and be kind to yourself, most definitely, as well as to others. Yes. A lot of times this could be easier said than done when you still carry resentment, when you lack forgiveness, etc. I'm not saying be blind to everything and, you know, not get angry, not be sad. No, that's your emotions. You gotta balance out your human self and your spiritual vessel, okay? Now my nose is starting to itch. So the crown could be significant. anything that's on the face, your third eye, and maybe a little bit below the throat chakra. So your crown, your throat chakra, and your third eye could be very significant, as well as all your other chakras. The cards that I was using as well are literally chakra wisdom oracle cards. So they have all the chakras: root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, crown. They have all the chakras here. And they also come in different forms and colors, you know. Like the red, how we talked about the insecurity, this can tie to your root chakra. So maybe if you have some type of insecurities, doing some work on your root chakra can help. That has a lot to do with your security and everything else. Look, and renewal is also in the energy of red. Kay said she was scratching both before I mentioned them. Ooh, child, so confirmation. Some of you guys can even be, it's very, like I said, with the mysticism energy, I'm telling you, very powerful energy that you guys possess. And sometimes you don't even realize it or see it. Maybe it's not talked about enough. Maybe it's, you know, a lot of people in the world's imagination has been tarnished to the point of where they're like, no, that's a coincidence, or, you know, but I'm telling you, you guys are really gifted. Even, you probably haven't even heard the words or the definitions of the gifts that you do possess, right? A lot of you guys, you have more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clairs. You probably thought, oh, I'm clairvoyant, that's it. No, honey, you clairgustness, clair aliens, clair this, clair that. You can also be empaths. You can feel very deeply. You can sense and feel the energy of others. And from a psychological perspective, you could have, it's like this self-monitoring energy. Look up the definition of self-monitoring when it comes to psychology. It's basically just being aware of self to the point to where you will know what other people need as well, you know? So there's different definitions. We're all saying the same thing, whether you're a psychologist, whether you're an atheist, whether you're, well, I don't want to include atheists, right? But I mean, they can be included. They, we, us, right? We don't have to separate each other, even when it comes down to race. But I understand you guys' pain. I understand a lot of you guys are still grieving, healing. You're possibly in the midst of chaos. But remember, a lot of times we create our own karma. So check your energy at the door. And I'm sure everything else will follow. Everything else will shift. Okay? It's okay to fall, bump your head, go off on somebody. When you come back into your senses, a lot of you guys may feel bad, or a lot of you guys may do something that you'll end up regretting. So it's just, we know you're genuine. We know you're loving. We know at times you could be this sensitive individual. So that's good. Just you know this, okay? It doesn't matter if everybody else do. You need to know this so that you can learn how to show up better in the world, you know, so that you won't get teared down, so that you don't gain more insecurities that you're already trying to heal, right? Once again, choosing your battles, or working smarter and not harder. Anything that you don't do now, you will always have to do eventually. So whatever you do know you should do, implement more. Please do, okay? The thing is, if you work out, I'm not gonna gain any muscle. If you eating food, I'm not gonna gain any fat. If I'm listening to music, you're not gonna hear it. Whatever you're doing for yourself, it doesn't affect anybody else. You can hold the grudges, you can do this. It ain't affecting really anybody. Maybe to an extent. Oh, she's not talking to me, damn. But, you know, time goes, the next day comes, and just make sure at the end of the day, if you plan on living for another 10, 5, even 2 days, you want to make sure that you mastering certain things, turning weaknesses into strength, so that life can be more, you know, you can feel more free, you can feel more abundant, you can feel like you want to actually live in the world, right? Being able to coexist with low vibrational energies. Sometimes we can be in low vibrational energies. These things are energies. Energies shift, it changes. A lot of times it doesn't have to remain the same, but a lot of times it is up to us, okay? Whenever I channel anyways, my nose always gets itching. I hate it. I do. But this is just in a different spot now. It's more like in my nose. Usually it's like on top. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. And I think it's starting to try to do that too. But yeah, just get to know yourself more, okay? Prayer could even be very significant. Maybe this can help in some type of way with your solar plexus. It is the color yellow. The color yellow is very significant. Okay, the color gold, etc. Maybe you guys are going from black aura to golden. aura. It has nothing to do with your spiritual ranking or this and that. If you believe in that type of stuff, it has a lot to do with how you feel within. When somebody told me that they seen my aura, I didn't really believe him because he was a bit childish. I think he told me that he was autistic, and I feel like autistic people are like, they keep it real. They be keeping it real. They don't care about the societal norms, at least from the autistic people that I've met or, you know, come across. And he mentioned that he seen my aura. He said it was black. This was like back in July of 2024, I believe. Yeah. And I looked at him like, you know, because me not even knowing what the heck, I'm thinking in my own way that black aura means that you're like this low vibrational whatever type of person, and I'm just like, oh honey, you just don't know. I don't have a black aura, da da da. But then when I ended up looking it up, eventually it ended up saying whoever has a black aura, it could be a person that's depressed and other things. So I was like, oh okay. Like, so I took offense to it when the whole time it wasn't child. But anyways, hi Ann. Thank you guys for double tapping the screen. Yes, and they have perception gifts. Yeah, and we were just talking about perception. So everyone in this plane has gifts. Everyone. Okay, whether people label you autistic, remedial, basic, whatever, okay? Everyone has God within them, and they have gifts. It's just about realizing it, being confident in it, embodying that, seeing it honestly, right? Imagine growing up in a world where you never really learned about it until you heard about it, or whatever the case may be, right? So, like I said, just know, regardless as you're navigating this path, you will come into everything that you pretty much need to know. A lot of times, bumping your head gets you there, right? That's how a lot of you guys gain the wisdom that you have in today's time. That's how you show up, how you do in today's time. A lot of the past has a lot to do with your present. The present is going to have a lot to do with your future, okay? So just keep that in mind. Don't live in the past. Don't be too much in the future. Live in the present, okay? Practice mindfulness if you need to learn how to be more in the present. All right? It works. A lot of these things like the mirror work, all of these things actually do work. I don't think it even takes believing, right? Because sometimes when you start something off, you don't know if it's going to work. Maybe there's a piece of you that believes. Maybe that's where they get that, oh, all you need is a faith of a mustard seed, you know. Maybe it don't take much. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, a lot of times, just because you don't see the results doesn't mean that you're not making progress. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I'm just going to put on a little of this. I don't know where my other one. See, with this one, I always have to keep putting some on every probably 10-20 minutes or something. But my other one, it usually lasts for like over an hour. I really like that one. I don't know where. Oh, it's in my purse. Golden opportunity. Wow. Cover her up. This is Goddess Yemania. These are reflective cards, so you may not be able to see as much with this light bouncing off of it. All right, reflections or reflectives could be significant, whether you see these type of decks or something about it is just significant. You see how it kind of looks like a rainbow color? Rainbow auras can even be significant. You know, golden auras, like all of these things. But important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. Sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes we have certain beliefs that restrict us, limit us, etc. So we think, well, I'm abundant. I'll be all right. I'm not going to, I don't take no shit. I ain't going to, this ain't for me, da-da-da. I almost did that in a situation. And I realized, child, time passes. You don't stay mad for long. Especially me. I'm not the type that really holds grudges and I get over stuff. And I'm an Aries moon, so a lot of times I respond in a very fiery way when something hurts my feelings. And I guess that's something that I'm learning how to do. You don't have to cling and attach to astrology and everything, right? But when I did read into my birth chart and find out about how does the Aries moon respond, whatever case may be, it made sense. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, a lot of things gave me answers to things that I realized, but I just didn't know the definition to. And I could have came into this, I'm sure, within my own energy, but that's confirmation that it's okay to hear things from outside of yourself. I don't want to, I'm kind of a bit worried on saying that, because I've always learned, you know, it's best to go within instead of outside of you. But a lot of times, if you're a walking blind person, metaphorically, you just don't see stuff until it gets brought into your attention, right? Sometimes that takes you going the traditional route, something that's already discovered and known, right? It doesn't have to. You could have been raised by wolves and been perfectly fine on your own, isolated in a country where there was 0 people, right? I'm sure. But a lot of you guys, that's not how your life started off. So it's going back to this deprogramming to reprogram will be really important, and learning how to trust more in yourself, which can kind of interfere in a way, because you've learned how to do things by looking at other people. You learned what something was by somebody telling you what it was, right? So I guess a lot of things are just embedded, but you can start completely over. You can erase everything you once known. It may be easier said than done, but anything is possible. Even living a life of peace. I'm telling you, some people just don't have this belief, and that's why it's important. I don't want to say shun people, but it's important to not be surrounded by these type of individuals. By all means, if that's what you do, that's what you do. You want to go out to family reunions where there's low vibration people, that's you, that's your fam, okay? That's your life. I'm not saying, oh, do this is the right way, this is the best way. Maybe my own personal self could think that, but I'm not going to say my way is the way and everybody should do this, right? Because like I said, maybe what I do or picked up on was taught to me and learned to me. It wasn't something that I've given myself or told myself, yeah, we're going to go this route. This is what I'm gonna do, right? So I just let people do them. But don't be afraid to switch things up. Don't be afraid to, you know, change the course, even if that's within your belief systems or how you operate in the world. Just the main important thing is to trust yourself and to trust your vision. All right, remember, anything that's negative is false. You're not forgiving for them, you're forgiving for you. Protect your energy. Don't stoop down to somebody else's level. Being in low vibrational energy can actually interfere a whole lot. Doing something one time, you will possibly be able to do it again. So imagine being in this energy where you're being stubborn and you don't want to change, and you're like, nah, I'm going to go off on everybody who do something to me. When in reality, you could be alchemizing that energy, since you're an alchemist, transmuting it, and just helping, you know, turn weaknesses into strengths. Like, it's about being wise with your alchemy. Not, oh, they're da-da-da, they're winning, or no. Okay? Release any beliefs that are limiting, restrictive, negative, etc. It's not delusional. I don't know who came up with this delusional stuff, but all right? Look, quiet time. Got to make sure she's clothed, okay? There go that nose again. Ugh. Should I put something over my nose at this point? Because I just can't do this. I can't. All right? She's doing this. Quiet time. Take some quiet time alone to rest, meditate, and contemplate. All right? This is going to be really important. Next thing you know, you'll be operating differently in your life. You'll be seeing things more clearly. It's really important. Some of y'all, this just takes 30 minutes, an hour. And I'm not saying that's it, that's all, but I'm just saying this could really help your aura change. This can really help your energy shift. This can really help a lot. Now, a lot of you guys, it's going to take more than 30 minutes in an hour. Okay? It's a lot of stuff. Even you got mental fog and everything, okay? It's a lot of stuff going on. So maybe implementing this in your daily routine is going to be really important. Make time for self. make time for things that are good for you and healthy for you. I understand you just want to binge watch your favorite show and, you know, eat your chips all day, but that's not really doing nothing for you. You're going to end up regretting something when you're 80 years old. Like, I should have did this. That's why you got to do things now. A lot of things, it takes discipline, okay? But remind yourself while you're doing something. Okay, I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to go off on this person because I've already learned from previous actions or this and that. I feel like that's also why you guys possibly experienced what you did, just so that you can gain the wisdom and learn some things, see some things. A lot of times you don't have to have a teacher. Who was the teacher's teacher? Exactly. Who taught this person how to play the piano? The first person who played piano, who taught them? The first person who got the inspiration to go discover a country that was never, you know? That's why there's so many things that are claimed. People went out, discovered them. Now some people, they took advantage and they took over. Money, power, SEX, right? But it's a lot of crazy things that happen in the world, you know? But I just feel like we're all experiencing things for, I don't know. I just feel like it's always a bigger picture and a deeper reason and perspective for things. I don't feel like things, I'm not saying that, oh, this was meant to happen to you so you could da-da-da. I'm just saying whatever unfolds, especially with the free will of other people, out of your control, etc. And a lot of times you'll be surprised on how a lot of times it has less to do with other people and more to do with you. A lot of times people be like, oh, we ended up having this fight. It started off as an argument, but it takes two to argue. You probably thinking, oh, they started the fight, da-da-da. But it takes two to argue, and it takes two to fight. Some people, they probably walk up on you, still off on you, right? It ain't take two at that moment. But before, let's talk about before, what could have happened. Maybe I could have just kept my cool. Maybe I could have just, you know, I'm not saying don't say anything, da-da-da. Just being assertive, standing in your power firmly. That means a lot of times you don't respond with your emotions a lot. That doesn't mean you're not liberating your emotions and freeing yourself and speaking your mind. No, you're just doing it in a more healthier way. Safe for you and safe for others, right? Because sometimes you're on the opposite end where you will probably hurt somebody's feelings, hurt them physically, whatever the case may be. Right? We don't want to dish out more harm into the world. I understand the teaching people a lesson thing, but a lot of people, they already know. We're not, you know, as crazy as people like to think they don't know any better, a lot of people do. That's why they try to show up in the world a certain way, because they know this is better than showing up as the authentic version of themselves that they are right now. The reason why I say that they are right now is because a lot of times how people show up in today's time, it's not their authentic self. That's their traumatized version of self. So I could be speaking to you, not just others, right? The main important thing is self, not because, oh, we're being selfish. I don't understand where that saying came from anyway. How is doing anything that's tying to self ever selfish, you know? But maybe that's because we look at things in a negative perspective. If we hear the word selfish, we'll look at it like in a negative way. You don't have to look at it in that way. Just because you were taught to look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to look at cheating in a negative way. Somebody cheat, that's just something they need to work on, honey. People don't be a child and grow up knowing that they're going to be the most hated person in the world because they committed adultery or cheated or, trigger warning, assaulted someone, even in other cases. Right? So I honestly do feel like this is a lovely way to go about things. It's more peaceful, more free. It's similar to like if you believe in Jesus or if the story was ever real and true, which I feel like it could have been, whether they changed the name, changed the gender, changed the this, whatever. Because when I remember a while ago, I had asked an AI to define Jesus. What was Jesus? And they described me. I'm telling you. Humanitarian, forgiving, da-da-da. I'm like, I most definitely know a person like this existed. Because it's literally how I show up. Behind closed doors, when nobody's looking. Yeah. Sometimes I be like feeling like, man, I'm so nice. I'm so that. But that's the gift though. That's the great thing about it. You've seen over how many people exist in the world, and there's only a small percentage of people who actually show up in genuine energy or earth angel energy, whatever these terms are that they created as time continues to go on and go on and go on and go on and go on, you know? But yeah, don't let anyone dim your light. You know, stand in your power. Don't ever hold back from speaking your mind, speaking your truth. But you also don't have to do it in a way that's going to be unhealthy for you and that may turn around and bite you in the end. You can still do it in a way that's liberating you. Okay? But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. There go the boundaries energy. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. Yeah, you have that right. I know the government created rights and everything for everybody, but you are your own person. The government does not own you. They don't tell you how to go about your life, how you should go about it, even though they do. Yeah, y'all gonna do this. This gonna be the job you're gonna work. This gonna be how much we're gonna pay you. Yeah, we gonna get a little bit of money out of that too. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. You're gonna live in this country. As long as you live in this country, you're gonna live by our rules. You know, it goes on. But that doesn't have to be your reality. You don't have to exist in that. I seen this lady talk about, there's a lot of things going on, trigger warning. There's genocide, there's this, there's that. All I hear is negative stuff on the TV. I think what we should do, and the crazy thing is, this video went viral. I think what we should do, we should just turn off the TVs. We should just ignore everything. If Martin Luther King would have ignored everything, it probably would have been further and further and later down the line till everybody started being less segregated, right? Sometimes when you have that vision, you got to trust yourself to move forward. You're doing a lot of things for self, which can also be for others as well. I can't believe, respectfully though, bless her heart, that she, you know, said this. And there's so many people who was agreeing. And I'm like, but it's fine, because guess what? Maybe it just wasn't their purpose, right? They just didn't have it in them to be the activist, to be the healer, to be the humanitarian individual, to be this and that, right? You let people do them. It has nothing to do with you. If you want to make a change, make the change, honey. Millions of people going against it don't have nothing to do with you. It only took one Martin Luther King. It only took one Rosa Parks. A lot of you guys, prejudiceness, racism, slavery, these things could be really significant. A lot of times people probably don't like to talk about it, but it exists still in today's time, you know? We're not what we used to be, which is great. And this doesn't have to just be limited to that. The world has changed in a lot of ways. But the main important thing, if everybody just, instead of be focused on everybody else and we focus on ourselves, I feel like the change could really, you know, happen. Because there's a lot of people that saying, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And they're not doing that. Or they're not being consistent. Or blah, 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 right? It says you have all that you need. Do what you want. I don't care if it's going out to live into another country. I don't care if it's this and that. Now, you got to be mindful to not care about what other people think. A lot of people telling people your business, what you plan on doing, next thing you know, you won't be doing it anymore. Okay? So it's okay to keep things to yourself. It's okay to have things like literally for yourself, like especially when you get into a romantic connection. You don't have to tell them everything on the first day. You don't have to tell, I understand you want connection, etc. But you can also look at as connecting with other people to help connect more with yourself. Like, what do you do? Oh, I when I get into a connection, I lack boundaries. When da-da-da. Okay, now you're realizing what you have to see. A lot of times people are mirroring back to you what you need to work on. And maybe a lot of times people mirror back to you. Mirror, like you're a mirror to where you mirror back to them how they show up in the world. Okay? And vice versa, right? Whether you know these human beings or not. That's probably why there's so many freaking human beings in the world. Because regardless of if people keep making kids or not, you'll learn regardless. You'll experience what you need regardless. Alright? I'm going to get into another collective after this one. But after I wrap this one up, I'm going to get started on the personal. And then I'm going to hop back into a new collective. So I'm going to wrap this up. Let me get the young lady's name. Miss Asia, are you here? Also, love when individuals don't send in $50 for a reading, and that's what I prefer, or $10 for a question, and that's what I prefer. No problem. I do say that donations are accepted, so just be mindful based on your donation size determines how long I do stay in your reading. So I'll possibly do a 1-card pull for you, love, but it will still be in depth, okay? Now, it says you are already successful, but there's more to come. Love that. All right. You are a 10 out of 10. Yes. And then I just seen AI say self-improvement discussion. Share your perspective. So, wow, AI really listening, honey. So I guess this whole reading we did was based on self-improvement. So I like how they updated this. AI do be coming in. They be coming through for real. I like AI. But yeah, you are a 10 out of 10. Okay? Don't ever feel like you're just too kind. Oh, I got heartbroken so many times, I'm gonna just be the heartbreaker. No, please no. All right? You show up how you show up for a reason, honey. That's who you are, and doing the opposite will just be not you. And eventually you'll probably feel bad, or you'll probably just, you know. But hey, you live and you learn, you bump your head. As long as you fall and get back up, that's all that matters. It's okay to mess up, it's okay to make mistakes. Just know there's no such thing as failure. All right? Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. And yeah, that's why I wanted to like let you know. I really said that as well for other people who come across the video, not necessarily talking to you specifically. Just to let future reference as well for new people, or the OGs, to let you guys know if you do send in donations, I'm 9 times out of 10 gonna go based off of, it depends on how long I choose to sit in the energy, you know, because what we do, it drains our energy a lot. And you see me, I'm talkative. I try to make sure I get everything out because I really want to help people. So it's just more for like boundaries, really. That's really all it is. That's really all it is, love. It's not personal. I appreciate you enough, you know. You still paid something. So I appreciate you for your trust and your support. But yeah, don't take it in a way like, you know. Thank you guys for the follows and the likes. All right. Now it says, yeah, I read this one, and I think we have a few more cards. Be yourself, don't care about what they think. Yeah, we talked about it. Thank you. So that's confirmation. All right. I don't care if you want to wear purple hair, blue hair, rainbow hair. Okay? I don't care if you're going to move out, never talk to your family again, or I don't care if you try to bring people with you on your journey. Just do whatever you do. Regardless, I feel like you're going to bump your head and learn the lessons you need to learn anyway. That's what's been happening since you were 1 year old, right? You touch something, it's hot. You know not to touch it again. You connect with people too early, too soon without getting to know them. You know, okay, we're going to say more, right? So you live and you learn, all right? Now, just remember, beware of haste, temptation, and desperation. We talked about it. Don't worry. This video will be uploaded to my YouTube. So especially for you, Miss Asia. A name Sarah could be very significant. I keep wanting to call you Sarah. But, Miss Asia, what was I gonna say? Man, I forgot. All right, it says, yeah, we read both of those. All right, 1 card left. Yeah, you have all that you need. All the tools and resources that you need is within you. I can do a message without an example. I can give the messages that I can give without tools, because how I'm able to speak, do this, do that, it's already within me. It's just wisdom, right? I just like using tools. It's just like, I probably won't. Eventually, I'll probably stop using them, but nothing encouraged me to just put them down, really. It's just like, it's no problem to me, you know. But I may start giving messages a lot more, like the lady, A Touch of Badu. I don't know if you guys came across her content before. She doesn't do card readings at all. She just gives her wisdom. She's talking. You will think it resonates with you, you know. So I feel like a message will still be able to resonate with you even if I don't use the card. You know, this is just an example to say you have all that you need. Whether you're low on finances, that doesn't matter. Whether you're just know you have all that you need, okay? The thing is, you can't find happiness or success or anything outside of yourself. Being who you are is the success, is the wealthy energy, right? All right, so don't forget that. A lot of times we forget a lot of things as we get beat up in the world, okay? But I hope that helps you guys. Once again, I'll be getting into another collective. I'm just going to close this one out and start on a personal, and we're going to do some additional messages. All right, Miss Asia, let's go ahead and get started on your reading. And then I'm going to hop into a new collective. I need to give me some Palo Santo. I actually like Palo Santo more than my other tools that I'll be using. I mean, I like sage and everything. I just feel like, I don't know, I like Palo Santo as well. And like dragon's blood incense. So I'm gonna have to get some more of that. Gonna put these up. Okay, love, so you said you wanted a reading. Is there any reading you would like in particular, or like a general, anything that comes out? What I just did in the collective was basically a general. I didn't know what was gonna come out. I didn't specifically focus on one thing. Thank you for sharing the live. Welcome back. A card that popped out was faith. Okay, so I don't know who that's for, but faith is really significant. And a lot of times the messages aren't saying, oh, you need to do this, it's encouraged, you lack this. A lot of times it could be telling you and committing you, wow, your faith is getting better, you know? So just apply messages how they fit. What are my options? I never got one before. Wow, you never got a reading? Okay, so I actually like doing generals overall, or like love or whatever, but career, finance, situation and advice, I have it in my website. I have like many different ones. You can even do a custom to where you create your own read, like whatever you would like to do. General, okay, whatever you want. Like, even though I like doing it doesn't matter. I always want to make sure I do what you want. But okay, let's go. If you change your mind anytime before I start on your read, you can just let me know. No worries. I'm just gonna put these up though, and then we'll get started. And was there anything that you were looking forward to in particular, like healing messages, guidance, etc., or not really? Just general, whatever comes out is fine. Because, for example, if you were to say, oh yeah, I'm really in a bad place right now, mentally, etc., I really need some inspiration, you know, then I'll probably pull you some messages from your spiritual team, some angel numbers, and, you know, stuff like that. Guidance. Okay, love, I got you. We're going to get some spirit messages for you. I don't know if Maroon 5 is very significant for you, or if the name Sarah is, because I don't know why I wanted to call you that. Ethnicity, ethnic background, your heritage, your roots. So this collective most definitely was for you, love. Most definitely. So you can always come back to this read whenever you like. I should have this video uploaded before the week is up, okay? All right. Cleansing the energy within and around me. I'm going to be doing a reading for Asia. She sent in 5 today for a general message based on guidance, okay? Speaking from my higher self only, I allow the divine to also flow through me and speak through me to help Miss Sarah. My energy will not interfere with this reading whatsoever. Thank you. All right, we got the raccoon. Letting go. Okay, so that could really be significant. And we got the bat. It's time to transition. So let's see what cards come out for you, love. All right, you guys, we're now starting on a personal. You guys may be able to resonate with Asia's personal, but it is not a personal message for you, okay? It is a personal message for her alone. But as always, just take what resonates. All right, messages for Sarah. Thank you. What is a message here for Sarah? There's many messages actually that want to come out for you. We're going to see what this is. We got the bee coming out. A lot of times bees can tie to community, but on this card specifically, it ties to productivity. All right. And I know you told me that you were currently houseless at the moment in a shelter. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing to be ashamed of. Now, it says it is time to examine your productivity. Disorganization and indecisiveness may be causing you to miss opportunities. Take a moment to prioritize your goals and get a clear view of how to get where you want to go and what it will take to get there. Okay, so a lot of times what we go through in the 3D plane, it has nothing on what's going on spiritually. Okay? A lot of times you could be going through the most traumatizing situation in your life, but what's happening spiritually it's I'm telling you, extremely powerful. The 3D plane situation doesn't even top what's going on, right? Now, I don't know if where you are now, you feel like, okay, maybe I can slack a bit, or I'm not saying you're slacking, all right? Or you just feel like, okay, well, I'm at this place and once again, you have all the tools and resources that you need. Where you are right now, I'm sure sometimes it's uncomfortable, right? Because maybe we prefer to be in our own energies or spaces or whatever. But I feel like you should utilize what you do have and look at things in a higher perspective. It's not happening to you, but for you. 10 years from now, 5 years from now, even 2 days from now, you'll have a testimony, right? It just says, I just left abusive husband after almost, wow. I just said 10 years. It ended up because I am a SAHM. I'm so apologetic. I don't know the abbreviation to SAHM. Okay. Wow. Yeah, so maybe this is just teaching you, remember what we talked about in the collective? Possibly stepping into your divine masculine. Being that protector for yourself. It's fine if other people want to come in, but just know they are extras, a part of your life. Love, see, this is a heart, and I just hit my hand on it, and it literally stabbed me. So I feel like love for you could have been very hurtful, abusive, as you said, painful, right? Maybe you're still feeling the pain from it. Okay? A lot of times when you stay in a connection that long, I don't know if you already possibly been seeing the red flags ahead of time, but no shame, no worries. You didn't fail. I'm sure you did everything that you could. Be gentle with yourself. And also, don't hate this person. A lot of times people don't stop, Jonesy. They don't start off as children and know that they're going to be abusers, manipulators, hurtful people. The most hated individuals in the world, right? A lot of times things just happen within our childhood, and if we don't properly feel loved or whatever the case may be, a lot of times this can turn us into cruel, low vibrational individuals, right? I don't feel like people grow up, hey, I want to be the most hated person in the world, or whatever the case may be, right? See people as their childlike selves. I don't care if they're 50 years old. I don't care if they're 30 years old. Now, this isn't to excuse anything that they've done. This isn't to just erase everything and, or whatever. Still validate your feelings. Your feelings are valid. I'm great that you got out of this situation. It shows strength. All right? But when it comes to your productivity, in particular. Okay, transition was a thing, letting go was a thing. So it's confirmation that you were letting go of things, but maybe there's still some things that are needing to be let go of. But when it comes to where you are now, see it as just a stepping stone to get you where you want to be. And also, don't feel like it's harder to get where you want to be. Because, I will go into a shelter any day, okay? Because these bills, child, these bills, honey, you know? So I feel like just look at things in, like, a different way. Know that it's not happening to you before you. And know that a lot of times, once again, we do create our own karma based on our inexperience, or, you know, what we say yes to, what we say no to, what we do, what we don't do, right? But no, regardless, you are still able to be as successful as you want to be. And once again, success doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about how many houses you have, how many cars you have, whatever. Just about who you are. So being at peace is the best thing that you could be at right now. And a lot of times you are the co-creator of your life as well. So just because you're experiencing this tough time right now, don't worry. The sun, when it rains, it pours, but the sun always comes out to shine again. All right? So once again, it's just time to examine your productivity. Maybe there's something that you could put a little bit more effort in, right? Maybe there's something that you could see differently. Maybe there's something that you could do more, okay? Disorganization and indecisiveness. I'm not sure why you may be feeling indecisive. If you want to share, you can. The disorganization could just be because there's a lot of things going on. It's okay. All right, you're not a failure. It's okay to have lazy days. It's okay to be in a situation and you just don't have the energy. It's okay. Plus, you're a mom, you know. But I feel like this has just taught you to be in your own divine masculine energy. It's fine to have relationships, friends, whatever. But the main important relationship in your life is one with yourself. Relying on someone is like giving somebody the power to feed you, is giving them the power to starve you. All right. It's always important to make sure. I don't want to make you this hyper independent person, but just to help you be in this energy to where you are not going to be stuck. You are not going to be in a situation where it's going to be hard to get out of. You know, I almost went back to a person from my past because they told me they were going to get an apartment, I wouldn't have to work, and like all of these things, right? The crazy thing is, I already told them if they were going to try to get an apartment, I'm the only one that's going to be living in it, you know? So sometimes people, you can see the red flags ahead of time. So I feel like this is really just a testimony that you're just building on, a situation that's turning your weaknesses into strengths, and it's just a lesson, wisdom. There's lessons are just as grand as blessings. A lot of times that's how you come into wisdom anyway. I'm indecisive about which way to go now as far as career. See, and I was sensing career with you earlier. I'm a veteran. Thank you so much for your service. And used to be solely independent since I was 15. Wow. So maybe you gave that person a chance and they actually did not do right by you. It was the same thing with me. And I'm constantly telling you about my personal self. So maybe listening to people's personal stories, reading books that are more nonfiction, autobiographies or biographies could possibly really help you and make you feel more like you're not alone, and everything else. I'm not saying that you probably feel alone, but I'm just saying this actually helped me too. I thought that I always was the romance novel type of girl, the mystery book type of girl, but actually I'm a nonfiction girly. I love a good autobiography or biography. Well, when the person is writing their own book about their own life, I actually love those type of things. So maybe hearing other people's stories, you know, like how similar to like if people get into rehab and they all sit around in a group circle. I'm not saying you have to do that, but you're not alone. If you don't feel safe with connecting with new people, take all the time you need. But I feel like this is you need to learn how to get back into balancing out independence and dependence. Okay? Like, that's all that was. See, and maybe if you would have met the right person, it would have been fine to navigate as the stay-at-home mom and like all of these things. But maybe it's time to switch things up a bit. Yes, I never saw this coming. He only got abusive when I said I wanted out this year. Wow. Yeah, see, a lot of people, they keep that false mask on until they can't anymore. But a lot of times it always does slip and tilt off a bit. You know, a lot of times, I'm sure, I guarantee you that you've seen the red flag the first day you met him, that first week that y'all hung out. It always happens. That's crazy you said group stories. Yeah, it's very significant. Like, it's just very significant. All right, even if it's one person. But I don't feel like groups are cool because there's more than one person who you can just hear other people's stories and everything like that. But I feel like somebody needs a woman like you, or a friend like you, a partner like you, right? Now, that's not to say, oh, okay, where they at? Let me make myself available. No, you need to tend to yourself in this moment. You are your biggest project, your most important relationship. Everything else will come, okay? The main thing that is important is mastering not being able to rely on anyone. I'm not saying that it's bad to do. No, it feels good when you actually have some type of support and community. Yes, but we do need to learn how to turn weaknesses into strengths. As you've been in a relationship for 10 years, and this person, I'm sure they've already shown signs of abuse. It didn't just happen when you said, you know what, I want out. Because I'm sure maybe it started becoming more clear and firm. Yeah, but I guarantee you they probably showed something, whether it was control or something. Unless they were just this person with a personality disorder and they held it up very well. But that mask, it always comes off. A nice person is not genuinely a nice person. They'll show, right? A person who is abusive, that's not generally safe, they'll show it. You know, the mask always does tend to slip off. It doesn't fall completely off. Sometimes it does tilt a bit, where you can see something. When you trust what you see the first time, trust your instinct. When people reveal their true colors, believe them. I don't want you to go back to this person ever again. I feel like you're needing to build this more solid foundation within self and attract healthier relationships. And the people who you're literally around, I feel like that was literally a synchronicity. Like, where you are right now is the best place that you could be. It may not, to the world, it may feel like it's not. But this is not their life, it's yours. So by all means, try to see what you can learn in a situation. Okay, I'm experiencing this. What is there to learn? What can I do? What is it that I can do more of? Everything doesn't have to be a test. Everything doesn't have to be, oh, I gotta work, I gotta do this, I gotta da-da-da. No, but it's mainly helping self, you know? Are you able to tell me if I'll ever find love for real? Oh, honey, I can tell you that without the divination tools. I feel like I gave all of my 20s for nothing. See, and now your kids, your mother. When you have to go through these things so that you could break generational curses so that your children wouldn't have to. You see how you went through certain situations. I don't know if you didn't have the best father figure, the best mother figure. Maybe you feel like you did, but maybe they could have done better in other areas. Maybe they could have been a little bit more emotional. Maybe they could have been a little bit, less strict, right? Whatever the case may be, right? Because a lot of times how we show up in our relationships has a lot to do with our paternal connections, okay? So, like I said, I just feel like your life, especially with you bringing children into the world, yes. Especially, I'm glad that we connected. Thank you so much for the follow, okay? So, regardless, just once again, look at things in a higher perspective. A lot of times we be so zoomed in. We be like this. We be zoomed in on our 3D plane problems. But I'm telling you, there's something bigger happening. Just think about something that was so painful or whatever that you've experienced before in the past and see what it's taught you in the present or, later on when you move forward. I moved away from home at 18 because of that. Wow. Yeah, you most definitely were always independent. You moved away at 18, honey. A lot of people, they stay in their home until they 30, 50. Okay, so I feel like you are still in alignment, okay? You stayed in your marriage. A lot of times we tend to overstay our welcome in people's lives. But I promise you, you didn't fail. You didn't lose half of your life. You still have a long way to go. I just feel like this was something that's actually beneficial and that was going to help you. See, a lot of times if we're operating inexperienced, we don't know any better, we're going to bump our head. So I just feel like this was just meant to happen, That's what I mean by sometimes we give ourselves karma because of what we do or what we don't do. You're not a failure. You're exactly where you need to be. See, the people around you have a story. They have a story. Everybody has a story. But I'm telling you, you can relate to these people. I'm sure you're not the only person who possibly stayed in a marriage that long, or, you know, stayed in a connection overall that long, right? Dealt with abuse, you know? This is not to, I'm looking for that word that starts with a D. My apologies. My brain is a bit going through it. But I'm not saying these things to make it seem like what you went through is just like less. I'm sure you didn't possibly take it that way, but I just still want to let you know. Your trauma, it can be, oh, my trauma is greater than this person. Their trauma is great. No, trauma is trauma. So it's cool that you're surrounded by people who you can share your story with. I'm not saying everybody you can share your story with and you can kumbaya and you can get along. Protect your energy at the end of the day. Just like you got into a connection with somebody who was an abuser, etc., that's around everywhere in the world, even possibly where you are now. So it's just about discernment, wisdom, and I feel like that's what life has been teaching you, especially with the people who you give your time and energy to. See, a lot of people, they could have dealt with 20 people and learned different things and gained wisdom from that. You've gained a lot of things from one person itself, being in a connection for 10 years. So it's like, regardless if you dealt with 20 individuals, friends, family, lovers, or that one individual and maybe a little family, little friends here and there, a little bullying in the childhood, whatever, it's still, I'm telling you, okay? So take a moment to prioritize your goals. All right, what are your goals, love? From short term to long term, okay? You don't have to tell me. Just ask yourself these questions. It's important to talk with yourself and ask yourself questions. People are going to think you crazy, but that's why we did the collective. It don't matter what other people think. They're always going to be telling you this and telling you that. But I guarantee you, your children won't have to break generational curses because of the wisdom that you've obtained through the pain. At least your children won't have to experience that type of pain. Now, I'm not saying all of them are going to dodge it. Maybe all of them may not, because a lot of times we have to just bump our head on our own. That's the main reason how we learn anyway. I remember people was encouraging me not to get married out of high school. And right when I graduated high school, I got married and I was like, oh, this will be something that I will never, that if I could go in the past, I would never do. You know? So just, once again, a lot of times our traumas, the 3D plane problems, we're up here. It's all up here. We don't see past it until time goes by and everything else, right? So I feel like this was just a teaching moment. You're right where you need to be. You're not a failure. You're loved. Even if you don't feel, I love you. Everyone. We never even met, but I do. I love everyone. You know, I'm always helping individuals, always try, you know, so you're loved. If you were not here the next day, it would tear me apart. You know, so you're loved, even from a spiritual aspect. You know, even if they're human beings, don't walk in this plane to tell you I love you. You do have invisible forces. You don't see them. You may not. A lot of times we lack faith. We don't feel like it exists. But I guarantee you, you're loved. You're protected. You're safe. Sometimes we just throw ourselves in the lion's den. But I guarantee you, throughout that whole time, you were still being watched over and protected and guided. But we just have our own free will, you know. This is not our angel's life. This is not God itself's life. This is not your sister or your cousin's life. This is yours. And however you're going to navigate it is however you're going to navigate it. But the main thing is to not become bitter, to not hold resentment, because that's not going to do anything for you. These people, they're still going to be low vibrational, right? But I'm telling you, what you did show this person was who they were. You mirrored back to this person exactly who they were. See, a lot of times people don't take accountability. We get into situations where there's injustice, but I promise you, no evil is ever overlooked, right? Karma comes and on everybody's door. Pay that debt, okay? Whether it's in blood, whether it's in tears, or whether there's a divine being that has to be removed out of your life. We can't, God itself or whatever can't remove us out of people's lives. They'll try. They will try. They'll give you hints. You know, even your higher self will come into play like, you know what, I deserve better. And I feel like you finally made it to that point. Angel number 10, we talked about it. That's the energy of renewal. You probably been already done with this person, but you finally physically moved. You know, maybe emotionally you were done, maybe mentally you were done, whatever. Good afternoon, love. Your therapist, my therapist, and he said that too. Yes, I'm currently in psychology right now. I've always wanted to do some type of form of helping people with the wisdom that I have. I'm not a certified therapist or counselor or anything else, but I most definitely am certified enough, okay? So just know it's great. You're even doing things for yourself, you know, therapy. Like, all of these things could be great. Make sure you're connecting with a therapist who you actually feel safe with as well. Seen with, heard. I remember when I went the therapist route, and all the therapists that I came into connection with, they basically, I could have been their therapist. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, a lot of times it's fine to have the support when you need it, etc. But learn how to stand 10 toes on your own as well. In this moment, therapy may be good for you, for sure. But it's not meant to be a long-term thing. You know? I'm sure whatever you have within you and going through these things which brings about wisdom, you could be somebody's teacher. You could be this, and that's why you have kids. I'm telling you, you have kids for a reason. Even if it wasn't by the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. Thank you. Yeah, see, I feel like personally I'm certified. Maybe when I do more healing on my behalf, like with my mind and everything, my brain is going through it. I just feel like the world doesn't tell me. They don't tell me that I'm certified. I tell me. They don't tell me nothing about me. The people that they have as president, that they have as police officers, they can't tell me nothing, honey. So the same thing with you guys. Don't let anybody tell you. I don't care if you didn't finish school. I don't care what it was. They want to raise you and teach you on how they want to. And a lot of times you're listening to people who are low vibrational. You're following behind people who are low vibrational. So I can finish school because I don't mind, or I won't. It doesn't matter. Whatever I learned in school isn't what I teach to people. I mean, maybe if I think about it, or I could use it in a certain sense, because I actually do feel like psychology, any and everyone should partake in it, you know? But I don't feel like school, it didn't give me what I have right now. Me bumping my head in life, going through pain and heartbreak is what brought about how I'm able to talk to other people and everything like that, right? But I love psychology, you know? I personally will possibly keep on doing it regardless, but nobody is going to tell me, oh, well, you got to do this in order to be certified. Well, let's ask the people whose lives I've changed. I'm not being conceited. They actually told me this. Many people told me, like, wow, you changed my life. It's even on some of my posts. If you even go on one of my pinned posts for my life coaching and everything that I did, one of the ladies who I was doing life coaching with, she literally said it in every post that she's seen from me. So the results are there, the reviews are there, everything is there. And even when I do you guys' personal readings, or when you hear a collective, you know, it's there. So don't let anybody tell you, you know, that you need this and need that to be certified. You are already the truth. You are already certified. Just like you, Miss Asia. You didn't need this person. You didn't need this person to love you. They couldn't love you anyway. You know what I'm saying? You didn't need them to love you to feel lovable. You were already lovable. You didn't need somebody to choose you to be chosen. You were already chosen. It's just about embodying that, having confidence in that. You know, so like I said, I feel like a lot of things that happens in our lives, it's for a reason, a huge reason. Just try not to get so caught up in those 3D plane situations or problems, okay? For ones, what's going on? Let me see if you have any more comments, honey. I mean, I would love to have more kids, but hell, look at me now. See, what did I tell you, Asia? So we're gonna have to work on that, okay? We're gonna have to work. Do some positive affirmations, okay? I told you, you're exactly where you need to be. There's no shame. There's no nothing. I told you that. You don't need the houses, the cars, the money to be successful. Any of those things. Hey, love. So just keep going. I'm telling you, everything is going to make sense. Walk and the path will appear. Just keep going and be gentle with yourself, girl. You are the bomb.com. And I hope I don't have to keep reminding you, okay? I'm telling you. That's why it's really important to be that own friend for yourself, to be first. It's okay to have them, right? But be your own friend first. Your own lover first. Take yourself on dates. Do all this other stuff, right? Master certain things within self. It's going to be really important. And I promise you, it'll be beneficial to you and whomever comes in connection with you. You're a blessing. And I'm sure other people knows this. Even your ex-husband knows this. They will never tell you, though. They will never tell you. See, a lot of times people, they keep things to themselves because they don't want you to get so big-headed and walk out of their life and start feeling like, you know what? I actually am too good for you. That's how they think. They don't think, no, this person really loves me and they're rocking with me. They're standing. A lot of people are blind. A lot of people, they lack the IQ, the EQ, all of these things, okay? So it's important to tend to yourself in this moment. And then eventually everything will come. And I promise you, everything is going to make sense in the end. Just keep going. Okay, don't give up. It's okay to pause. It's okay to take breaks. I understand. Okay? But don't ever give up. Don't forget the collective reading we did. Talk to yourself nice. Okay? You do have children. The greatest, that's probably the greatest gift. I don't know. I started second guessing having kids. I started thinking maybe I'll just adopt, because there's so many children in the system. But honestly, love, I'm telling you, maybe, I don't know if we'll still be connected in the future. Sometimes people come and go out of your life, but I do wish you well. And I know that you will do really, really awesome. Like you've already been doing, I guarantee. But I don't even see me dating again. And that was the question. Yes, love will come. Love always comes. It's just about, is it healthy? Okay, that's the question. Is it healthy? Does this person actually love me? Are they able to actually love me? Or do they just love me in their own way? Which could be in the form of selfishness, manipulation, etc. I told you, you come across me. That means you're going to be able to come across people who are actually genuine and knows how to give and receive love. I'm telling you. Now, I'm not saying go meet people online and everything else, but I'm telling you, right now, the main focus will be you and your children, right? God got you as well. You're not taking care of your children alone. God is with you. Your higher self is there with you. Sometimes there's too much stuff going on in the 3D plane. And like I told you, we're so up here with it. You see how you had said, I want to have more kids, but shit, look at me now. Don't do that. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your inner child, your little bitty self. At one point in time, you were a child. If somebody would have said, look at you now, you would have felt some type of way. So you just have to learn how to reparent yourself. Okay, maybe dad, mom, they didn't do a very good job. Love them, okay? But it's time that we give ourselves the things that we were missing from other people. Instead of wanting love, wanting to be loved. See, the thing is, you don't really care for it. You just want to feel it. So give this to yourself, right? Similar to a lady, she was like, oh, you don't want them to like you. You don't want them to love you. You just want to feel chosen. You just want to feel. She said something. I can't even remember what she said, but it was a gem. She dropped a gem, honey. Okay? I'm sure your kids are grateful for you. They probably don't even know what the heck is going on, because a lot of times children are just in that childlike stage and energy. Just remember back to when you were a child, right? The imaginary friends, or just not having to worry about bills or anything. Where you are, you and your kids are right now, they probably, it's not like how society sees it. I guarantee you your children don't see it like that. But sometimes that's why it's important to be mindful of who your kids are around, adults or children, because that's where everything starts, God bless me. That's how everything starts. We get projected on. Other people's beliefs become ours. And, we go through all of these things, right? Even stuff that's on TV, right? But I feel like what mainly sticks is what kids continue to be exposed to. Continue, right? But you got this. You're on the right path. Love will find you. Just make sure you love yourself first, so that you'll be able to see if someone is abusive. You'll be able to know. You'll see it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Get your mental health and everything together to the point to where you won't need to rely on somebody else to get paid to tend to you. You know, that's like taking care of yourself now so that a nursing home won't have to. The most important thing that you can do is love yourself and take care of yourself, right? And the beings that you bring into the world, of course. But how can you really do that if we are always seeking something more and seeking this and that outside of ourselves? See, the things with the human beings, I don't know if it's because we're in the USA or just all human beings. When you get that thing that you want, somehow you still want more. That's because happiness is not outside of self. That's because success is not outside of self. I don't care if you get the mansion. I don't care if this and that happen. You may still feel some type of inadequacy, incomplete. Oh, now I want this. You done got the car already. Now you want this? I thought you said, God, if you just give me a car, I won't ask you for nothing. You know? Now you got the car. Now you want love. Now you want a house. Now you want this. Okay? I don't know why you want any more children. I think you told me you had 3. I'm not a mom. I actually experienced a miscarriage and an abortion before. So I have spiritual babies, but I don't have actual kids. So I don't really know. Wait, 3? I don't know why I said 3. I don't know why I thought you had 3 kids. I don't know where I got that from. How many kids do you have? But I promise you, the ones that you have, I see a lot of times people want more because they want to feel something. Like if you have a little baby, it's just, oh, I just want my kids to be little again and they can't be little, or I just want to get that. I just want to, a lot of people care about pregnant women, so I just want to be pregnant again. Or like there's always reasons why we want something. Make sure it's not out of desperation, fear, lack, etc. Because if that is the way that you're operating, you may just not want that, okay? That may just be the traumatized version of yourself or the less authentic version of yourself, So forgive everyone, including your parents, including yourself. We are our worst critics. There's nothing wrong with you. Literally. I haven't even met you, and I guarantee you're more humane than a lot of people that I come across online and in person. So it's always great to meet you. It's always great to meet all of you guys. Continue to be you. Continue to be great. Don't worry about what's going on in the 3D plane. I'm not saying avoid things, ignore things. No. Tend to yourself, help yourself, right? But know that there's something bigger going on. And by the time that you master these things within self, see, if you start now, you won't have to worry about it in the future. You won't have to worry about your kids bumping their heads. Like, I don't know if you know about this couple. His name is Yada Awakening. He has kids with his goddess. Beautiful. But this is a man with a high IQ and a high EQ. And he attracted a good woman, which makes her a goddess. I'm not saying, there's bad women and bad men, but just, they do come off in this energy. They do come up, they do show up as bad people. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like to spread certain things, but we're gonna have to validate our feelings. We did experience pretty horrible people. Okay? But you can create something beautiful. You can create something beautiful. And maybe you can adopt one day. Right? If you want. I understand how people they because I've always wanted to have my own children instead of adoption. But as I got older, I'm 24, so I guess as I got wiser, I should say, I actually want to adopt. And maybe if I meet the right one, maybe I would go back into, not being celibate or not being in abstinence and everything, and that could work. But the people that I've come across, like you, abusers, manipulators, So I just didn't want that. And my spiritual beliefs is what caused me to get an abortion before. I actually feel like I was cursing my legacy if I was to have a kid by a person that I got pregnant by. Both pregnancies was by the same person. The first pregnancy I was having 3 kids, but I didn't know I was pregnant at the time. So at that time, I was like over here drinking little Long Island iced teas and like all of that. Being stressed out because this person was like stressing me out. And I don't want to give them all the credit to saying they're stressing me out, right? Because we control ourselves. You don't sit in depression. Don't allow somebody to constantly, you know, have you get into this energy to where you just become stressed, right? So that's what I mean by a lot of times we got to stop pointing the finger and just look at what we can do to change this. Either this person got to go or there's something that I need to do within. And a lot of times it's both. They got to go and it's something that also you need to do. Are you feeling okay? You kept touching your chest and mine feels heavy. Oh, thank you. Yes, Queen. I'm so sorry your chest feels heavy. Maybe doing some meditation, some journaling. Get some stuff off you, you know? Get some stuff off you. But yes, ma'am, like I was saying in the collective, sometimes we got these gifts that we possibly don't know about, and maybe I'm picking up on something with you. I just thought, personally, I wasn't even fully like aware that I was doing that. I just mainly feel my nose is itchy. So I'm like so uncomfortable. But thank you. Yeah, I'm well. And you deserve somebody who also cares about how you feel, just like how you care about how other people feel. But you're going to have to be disciplined. If you want real love, true love, yes, ma'am. How is that a question, Asia? Yes, it can come. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But sometimes love is in the form of with your kids. Love is in the form of, you know, the love that you have with yourself. And eventually you're going to connect with people who you can receive this outside of yourself. Sometimes I feel like things are not happening to us but for us. Like, okay, if I was to let this person come into Asia's life, at this point in time, she doesn't have strong boundaries. At this point in time, she doesn't this, and that. At this point in time, maybe if this person comes in, she's going to start feeling insecure. Like, sometimes there's reasons to things, you know? And I just started moving and everything. So maybe you just need to move your body, dance. Don't care about who's watching. Don't care about how you... I don't care if you do this. I don't care what you do, okay? Just release the energy, release the tension. You've been in a connection with somebody for 10 years. That is a long time. If I subtract 10 years from my life, I will be a teenager, like 14 or something. But nothing makes you or breaks you, especially not another person. So don't ever feel like, oh, I need a friend. I need that family member. I need that love, especially if it's toxic and low vibrational. It's bad for your health. So it's like what we really need is to love ourselves, you know? What we really need is this and that, you know? Think about being a motivational speaker. You're a great... Oh, thank you. But yeah, we've been separated since February. Okay, I may have met someone in the aftermath. It's fine, and sometimes I don't really recommend connecting. Wait, 3, please. Man, listen, I'm waiting on my period right now. Oh my goodness. Well, if you are pregnant, then at least that's what you wanted. But yeah, really tending to yourself in this moment would be really great for your mental health as well. You know, maybe they say babies are a blessing. But, you know, this is not about he say, she say, because everybody, they have their own beliefs in everything, right? Sometimes people feel like babies aren't necessarily a blessing. So I guess it depends on what you believe in. Jonesy, no. She's in timeout. But, maybe getting you a dog. That's my dog over there, you know? So, you know, just get things off your plate, and in divine timing, everything will happen, you know? We create things in our life. Some people feel like, oh, God bless me with my child. No. You had unprotected sex, and that man let his specimen out into you, and now, ooh, baby. You know, so it's like just be more realistic in life. I'm not saying erase dreams and imagination and all of this. I'm just saying be mindful of self-delusion. Be mindful of illusions overall. Sometimes things are not what they seem. So it's okay. You don't have to rush into anything. Honestly, I hope you stay gone from this person that you connected to. I don't like telling people what to do, but I promise you, give it some time. You're going to be good. You're going to be good. You're going to be more than good, because the person that was in your life was actually causing you the opposite of good. So you're already good. Trust. But you'll be better. Just give it time. Sometimes we forget, you know, how much somebody caused us to become mentally and emotionally ill, that we let them back in because we love them so much. That's when the boundaries come in. That's when the self-respect comes in. Sometimes we do things and we don't even think that it's lack of self-respect or self-love. You know, that's how blind we be sometimes, you know. So it's really important to just tend to yourself in this moment and just appreciate what you already do have, you know. At least you still have your sanity, you know. At least you ain't take yourself out the world. At least your kids are still, you know, living, and the father figure that they had didn't screw them up. You know, that's the blessing right there. Because like I said, a lot of times how kids show up, like when they grow up and how adults show up, a lot of times it has a lot to do with their childhood, you know. So it's really important for you to just keep it friendly, okay? When you're going through a breakup or when you're still semi in a connection, I wouldn't really recommend connecting with people, you know, because you never know. Sometimes we go back to the past person. Sometimes we're capable of hurting the new person. Sometimes the new person is capable of hurting us. It's just a lot of stuff going on in this period of time. A lot of times psychology even recommends that you don't get into another connection after like a year after being, you know, not together anymore. For you, it would almost make a year, but not fully, because you're still married to them. So they're still somehow connected. But so I've been proud of myself for choosing me, but I had to hurt everyone else around me. What do you mean hurt? You didn't hurt anyone. As you see how you said you're proud of yourself for choosing you. Remember how we talked about in the collective that some people call things selfish and like all of this stuff, and we look at them upside the head like selfish because I'm choosing myself. Like, you wouldn't mind other people choosing themselves, right? You wouldn't feel like that's selfish. You wouldn't feel hurt by it even. So anybody that's hurt by you choosing you, the kids, they don't understand. I was a kid before. I didn't understand why my mom didn't deal with my dad. I most definitely didn't understand because she didn't tell me either, you know? So having honest conversations with your children as well, you know? Sometimes people be like, oh, no, them your kids, da-da-da. They can still be kids and they can still have a healthy, vibrant life and be kids. But who's to say that I got to wait till they're 18 to have an honest conversation? No, I'm not with your father for a reason. No, I'm not with your stepdad for a reason, babe. You know? Also, to help them be aware of this. I wasn't aware of cheating until I got cheated on. I didn't know that it existed until I got in a connection and got cheated on. I wish my mom would have had, you know, bless her heart, may she rest in peace. She passed away October 11 of 2020. Respect and love to her. Like I said, people, that's why I don't blame parents or anybody, because if that's the case, we're going to have to blame our parents' parents and our parents' parents' parents and our parents' 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 parents. It's going to be a long list of pointing the finger. You just got to look at it like forgive them for they don't know what they do. You're not forgiving for them. You're forgiving for you. It's going to set you free. All right? I realized I kept giving him because I grew up always forgiving. There you go. There you go now. You see how you're aware? When you're aware of things, you can work on it. You can fix it. When you're not aware, you know? So it's great that you're aware.
Hey, Lenny.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thanks. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh my god. Oh, I hate forgetting what I'm gonna say. It's always important what I'm gonna say, so I honestly don't like when I forget. The raccoon is still on the back of the deck for you, love, so I'm gonna read that for you. Yes, it's important to be aware. I know I was gonna say something else, but that didn't even help. Thank you so much for that. Let me just try to read again. Yeah, I realized I kept forgiving because I grew up forgiving my dad. Okay, I still don't quite remember what I was gonna say, but it brings us back to how we show up in our relationships, whether it's romance or platonic. It has a lot to do with our relationships with our parents, what we didn't or did receive, right? How we felt, etc. It's important how you feel as a kid when it comes to your parents. If you felt neglected, if you felt like, oh, my mom showed more attention to my stepdad than she did me, or oh, my dad went out and slept with all these women and broke my mom's heart. Like, a lot of things are important. What you see with your own parents is as well. You know, sometimes you don't have to get taught things verbally, But just by looking at it, just by hearing some things, you know, a lot of things just seep into that. See, the brain, I remember when I had said something, my brain took it and ran with it. I was like, wait a minute. My brain literally, I didn't finalize that within myself. When I literally said something, my brain was like, okay, that's what we're doing now. I believe in that. And so it's really important on how you talk to yourself. It's really important on what you're around, what you're surrounded by. You pick up on things and it gets trapped, or at least picked up into your subconscious. And a lot of times it stays there. So inner child healing would be big for you. Some chakra balancing, taking the time out of your day, even if it's 5 minutes, you know, to have gratitude for who you are, how far you've come. Nothing is ever too small. All right. Nothing is ever too small. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate your wins, your accomplishments. You've made it far. Congratulations. You left the marriage. Now the only thing is to finalize that divorce. They don't deserve you, you know, and you would have known that a long time ago if maybe somebody in your life taught you or showed you that you're worthy of healthy love, that you're a blessing to someone's life. You know, I'm not saying that they didn't, but a lot of times that could be the case when somebody doesn't let you know or show this by love or even say it or make you feel, you know. I'm states away from family or friends, just the dad here and the nicer, healthy friend I made. So, as I was saying before, it's fine to have the support. Just turn weaknesses into strengths. Being away from your family or friends is possibly good right now. You've been in a 10-year-long marriage. You don't need to be surrounded by family and friends to gain support or to, you know, it's about being emotionally independent. It's about being able to stand 10 toes without any and everything else. That's why I feel like you're separated from them, because you need this. You need to be able to not, you know, walk 5 miles or 5 minutes away from somebody and get coddled, right? You need to be able to stand alone. You're not alone, but to actually be in this energy, because I'm telling you, you're going to turn a weakness into a strength. You're going to be able to depend more and rely more on yourself instead of other people. Imagine if you were near your family, they would have told you to come live with them. So I feel like you're constantly building some type of form of independence for yourself. Or maybe they would have told you, no, you can't live with us. And that would have been another form of possible trauma that would have triggered you into independence. You know, I just feel like life unfolds how it's just meant to, you know, especially when we operate in free will, you know. So just be grateful for what you already do have and celebrate your small wins, okay? Be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, but don't ever in your life tolerate any more disrespect, any more abuse. That's self-torture, that's self-betrayal. Love you, okay? Yeah, they're toxic, and honestly, wow. So you're separated from them for a reason. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you. I used to preach to the collective, y'all need to cut off anybody who hurt you. I used to do that all the time. But I want to let people navigate in their lives how they're going to. Because when I navigated in my life how I was going to, I bumped my head and baby, didn't nobody have to tell me nothing. I told myself, okay, yeah, this ain't it. You know? And sometimes it's more potent. It has a more effect on you when you actually bump your head on your own, you know? So the crazy thing is you already seen this from your family. Trust yourself. Remember we was doing a collective? Trust yourself. Trust your vision. Okay? Know that you have everything you need. Remember we talked about that. And I'm going to pull you one of my cards that I had made from my deck. So if you decide to go ghost on everybody and no longer talk to them again, hey. You know, because like you said, I feel like you actually do be thinking about how other people may feel about things. And you don't need to really be thinking about all that. Because you leave people for a reason. You cut people off for a reason. You gain distance for a reason. Don't ever second guess it. Don't ever feel bad. People are going to try to make you feel bad as well. And a lot of times, like I said, you don't have to be angry at them. A lot of times people show up how they do because of what they've learned. Maybe these same people who feel like you shouldn't do that, they never did it and they were scared to, and they don't want you to do it. They're like crabs in a bucket. Or maybe that's all they know. That's what they wholeheartedly believe. See, beliefs are not true. Beliefs are not all the time facts, but it's extremely powerful. Because what you believe in, you actually bring to reality. If I sit here and I believe that Jesus is real and that God is real, I'm going to possibly even start seeing things that show signs of this, you know? So, can I have a card, please, for Asia? Can I please have a card for Asia? So the fact that I keep thinking about that name, Sarah, maybe this guy was juggling you with someone else. I didn't see any divination tools or anything, but for some reason this name Sarah is still heavy. So I don't know if names that have A in it, S, or R are significant. Yeah, it makes sense. That's what they do. That's what abusers do. That's what manipulate. Of course, it wouldn't even cross. For a second, it wouldn't be surprising. Can I have a card pull for Asia, please? Possibly telling them exactly what they used to tell you. You know, they already see that you're leaving. Now they need to bag their next victim. But you're never the victim, you're the victor. Okay? Sorry, not Sarah, man. Please have more messages for Asia, please. Asia, please have more messages for Asia, please. All right, so with the raccoon energy, it's time to letting go. Remember, you had got the bat earlier, and it's tied to transition. I'm not sure where that card is, but I'll just go ahead and read the letting go energy. It says, this message has to do with those things to which you cling, be it a thought form, habit, creed, or a situation. The time has come from letting go. Something is halting your progress, and you are spinning your wheels. Once you embrace change, blessings will follow. I'm telling you, a lot of times the people that we have in our life, whether it's family, friends, ex-lovers, lovers, whatever, they are literally interfering with things. And a lot of times it can be your own blessings. Sadly, but it's true. It's literally true. Look, we got too blessed to be stressed, but it's coming out in the reverse. Maybe you don't feel blessed. Maybe at times you don't, you feel like all these bad things happen into your life to where you don't realize the good ones or you forget about the good ones. But you actually are too blessed to be stressed, honey. I told you, your energy alone is the success. See, your husband, he didn't carry the energy you have. So he wouldn't be blessed. I don't care if he's a millionaire. I don't care if any of those things. Because the way that he shows up in the world is completely horrible. You know? So being around people who are doing things with their life can actually be good for you as well. Like they're on it. Like, yes, they learn how to balance it out with life as well. They're not workaholics and everything like that, right? But they actually have goals, dreams, a plan, etc. This can actually help trigger you to step into that energy. Imagine being around a bunch of lazy people who are not doing anything, who doesn't expand. You know, they're just have limiting beliefs and everything else. That's going to rub off on you. Can I have a card for Asia, please? What is the card that she needs? Can I have a card for Asia, please? Look, it says, don't let the world change you. Do you? Because a lot of times you're operating out of people pleaser energy. Oh, well, this hurts their feelings. Or, oh, well, choosing me made I hurt the next person because I chose me. That makes no sense. And I'm not saying like you make no sense. I'm saying that makes absolutely no sense how people, but that's what happens when people have low IQ, low EQ, and they're not genuine for real. They're selfish, manipulators, etc. Of course they're going to look at it like, wow, Asia, that hurt my feelings. They're not thinking about your feelings. They're not thinking about why you do what you do. But somehow you still think about other people, even when they completely hurt you. Can I please have some more messages for Asia? Can I please have a message for Asia? All right. Look, creative blocks, love. See? You got to get that. See, it's fine to have days where things feel slow and you know you feel a little worn out, but sometimes you gotta help yourself. You gotta help. See, a lot of times we don't have a private this, a private that. Sometimes we have to be our own inspiration, and a lot of times that could seem hard because maybe we never seen this in the world. But I guarantee you, go your way. Go your way. Okay? Tend to yourself. You would have been around your toxic family if it wasn't for God to separate y'all. I feel like this was nothing but God, honey. Whether it's real or not, whether you believe in it or not, I feel like the invisible forces are literally, they cooking something right now. I broke up with him, separated, then... Wow, girl. Not gonna lie, I broke up with him, separated, then cheated. She put it in parentheses. Back for the first time and he got cuckoo. Oh my goodness, honey. See, we want to try our best to not dish out any trauma, okay? Just make sure you try your best. I understand what you mean by cheating in quotations. Like maybe, oh, this person cheated on you, so you cheated on them. Or maybe they showed up in a way that was unhealthy to your mind, body, and soul. And maybe technically y'all weren't together, so maybe you slept with someone else. Or, you know, I can get why you do the quotations, right? But a lot of times, if you're doing something anyway, maybe it shouldn't be done. Like maybe if you were connected to someone, but you want to talk to someone else, and then you talk to... Maybe it's best to just break up with them because they don't have anything else to offer you. Because if you have to step outside of a connection and connect with somebody else, they're just not the one. Because they ain't doing their job. So they got to go. The back and forth or connecting with somebody new is always going to feel like, you know. So like I said, nobody in this world is going to be good enough for you until you give yourself what you need. You can't get this from somebody else. You have to give this to yourself. Okay, on here it says opinions are not facts. So I don't know if somebody has been telling you things, or maybe if you come across some footage, maybe in the future you'll come across something. Opinions are not facts. Maybe it's your own opinions that you possess, maybe it's others. Okay? But yeah, you may be experiencing some type of creative blocks. Maybe the people who you are around is causing some type of creative blocks. Maybe the situation that you're in and the way that you're thinking about it is what's creating the creative block. But I am seeing some creative blocks here. No, I mean, like, I went through his phone, saw BS again, told him I was done, broke up. Then months later, met someone, and he told everyone we broke up because... Oh, so he basically lied. He was the one that was cheating. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. Look what we got on the back of the deck, love. Do it alone. Do it alone, queen. Do it alone, goddess. See, that's really going to help you embody this queen and goddess energy for real. I'm telling you. Do it alone, babe. Now, that's strong. That's strength. I'm not saying you weak if you connecting with people and you got people to lean on. No. It's very great when you have people to lean on. You're somebody that people can lean on. I'm somebody that people can lean on. It don't make them weak. At times, shit, we could use something like that, right? But when you get yourself to a certain place to where you don't fall into depression, to where you can go through something and it won't affect you drastically like it may have done in the past. That's what I'm saying. Like how AI came in here, talked about self-development. That's what's going on here. Miss Sarah. Oh, my apologies. I am about to end this live right now. I hate that. You see how I keep thinking of this Sarah thing? Oh, my apologies. My apologies. Miss Asia. Beautiful name. Okay? But there's always messages to give you love. I'm just gonna, I know I said that this was gonna be, you know, I set the boundaries, girl. See, I can't say what I'll do in readings. That's why I don't put a time on my readings or anything. I remember I was in a reading for an hour, a personal reading before, you know. I'm gonna have to start timing myself, though. I'm just gonna pull you one card from your spiritual team, and I'm gonna let you go, love. Now, no... So I resonate with this. Okay. It's funny because Sarah was the eye-opening moment I realized I didn't want him anymore. It was 4 years ago. Her name was literally Sarah. What? Thank you for telling me that, girl, because I'm like, why is the name Sarah keep coming in my mind? That is so beautiful that you literally knew somebody named Sarah, and it was because she was a mistress. Wow. So maybe going back into reflecting over your life with this person. See, you knew 4 years that he wasn't the one. Sarah. 4. That means you stayed in the connection for an additional, amount of time. So this maybe is also teaching you to trust yourself more. When you decide on something, to stay consistent in that decision. And I've regretted not following through every day. No. Don't have any regrets. See, obviously you just had to, obviously it was just this, He knocked me up. Yeah. Look, wisdom. See, we can't go back in the past, right? She's 4 now. Wow. But she's a blessing. See, sometimes just because we created babies from people who were this and were that, the blessing, that's possibly why they say kids are a blessing, regardless of, who you have them with, right? Because they come in innocence and purity. And a lot of times they can help you. They can help you in a lot of ways. Maybe that's even why you want kids. The crazy thing is, you said you regretted the situation, but you even still want kids. So I think you just regretted some things with him in particular. Or you love your kids, you love your children or your child. But yeah, maybe just going back into your life and reflecting. Remember, we talked about the inner child healing, the chakra balancing, maybe practicing mindfulness as well whenever you start getting out of the present moment. All right, doing some type of shadow work as well, and to also reflect on things. See, a lot of times you can't heal anything that you don't reflect on. Okay, healing is to reflect on what's happened, to accept that it's happened, and to forgive those involved, even if it's yourself. Sometimes we beat ourselves up about, like how you said, oh, I regret, and that's not going to do anything for you because we can't go back and change the past. So that's when we got to start working with what we have, On the back of the deck, it says, you are not moving too slowly. Drop the self-induced pressure. You are at the sweet spot between taking care of yourself and still making advancements on your goals. On this path, there is no such thing as being behind. Smile, breathe, carry on. All right, any last messages for Asia when it comes to what her spiritual team wants her to know? Like, I love being a mom and I enjoyed carrying one, but he made it hard. Of course, they always do, honey. See, that's why a lot of people go through postpartum depression and they experience severe pains and all this stuff. Yes, having babies could be this life-threatening thing and everything, but I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, it's in that sense because of the men who we have kids by. A lot of times men, they feed their body with trash. They don't heal, they don't detox. So mentally, emotionally, and physically and within, they're just trash, right? So when you have men who's drinking juice all day, rather water, beers and soda and like all of this stuff, they watch foolery. They don't have a high IQ or a high EQ. Yeah. So you're having unprotected relationships with someone, which is you shouldn't go around doing that with everyone. Okay? So when the next person who you connect with, make sure you get to know them. At least give it a year. I know it sounds like a long time, but guess what? Waiting a year to get to know a person and to figure things out, maybe within that look of time, you will realize, okay, I like this person. But sometimes we learn, get married, have kids. This person is yours. They're nobody else. A lot of times we become attached to things. We don't look at it as this is temporary. I'm not saying all the time, every time something is temporary. No, right? Sometimes people can grow old with each other, right? But I lost my train of thought again. I'm so apologetic. I'm going through memory issues. So, but I can't even remember what I was going to say. But yeah. So I guarantee a lot of times that's why people have these stressors and depression. It's because of the people who they lay down with. You lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas, honey. whether that's diseases, whether that's insecurities, anything. So you really, I'm telling you, waiting a certain amount of time to get to know a person is better than having a heartbreak, you know? So take your time. Look at things differently. And if you need to help yourself go from hopeless romantic to in a more healthier way, because being a hopeless romantic, I learned the hard way, it's not good. Having your heart on your sleeve, I've learned, not good, right? You don't have, it doesn't mean, oh, go from nice to being mean or go from this to being this. No, it just means setting boundaries and protecting your heart. Not restricting yourself from loving or creating relationships, but just being wiser, not forgetting the lessons that you've learned, okay? A lot of times you're gonna possibly bump your head when you do not listen to yourself or when you forget the wisdom, all right? So don't forget the wisdom. May I please have some messages for Asia in terms of what her spiritual team wants her to know? One card is fine, please. So yeah, maybe get yourself together, do everything that you need to do so that you can build up a solid foundation within self. Therefore, if somebody was to cheat on you, you wouldn't feel destroyed by it. Or, better yet, you wouldn't ever get cheated on again because you're going to choose the right person this time. See, a lot of times we feel like, is love even real? Is love even true? Because we come across a lot of connections that we get hurt in, and that's only because of our own inexperience. We choose the first person who comes in and put a smile on our face. We choose the first person to come in who we look, ooh, they eye candy, ooh, you know, everything that glitters is not gold though. So I feel like you're just learning. That's all it is, babe. That's all it is. All right, be gentle with yourself. Can I have a card for Asia, please? All right, thank you. If you are noticing changes within yourself, it is because you are leaving the old version of yourself behind. You are elevating and shedding unnecessary layers. Old cycles are ending and new beginnings are on the horizon. You deserve this new chapter. That's what it says. It says you deserve this new chapter. But you actually do, though. All right. Once again, Miss Asia, there's so many messages to give, but I'm just going to keep it at this one. Okay. I really low-key want to pull you some of these, but let me chill. Let me relax. Okay, so I'm gonna get this one for you. Okay, I hope that we whenever you need a reading again, I hope that you come back to see me. But it's totally fine. Okay, it's totally fine. God bless me. Okay, so yeah, maybe just getting out as well. Like you're somewhere, but you can always, you know, go outside. See, the thing that they try to what you want, it's free. What you want, it's free. You can go outside. You can look at the sky, the trees, feel nature, and just feel at peace. I'm telling you, a lot of things are more free than we think. And a lot of times, you don't have to be condemned to the conditions that you're in. You don't have to deal with this government system and paying for everything. You can learn how to grow a garden. Now, at least you don't have to worry about people putting pesticides and chemicals into your food. See, sometimes we get a little lazy. Okay, but it's just about working smarter, not harder. And a lot of times we think something is too much of an obstacle. When in actuality it's not. See, a lot of times we feel like something is too much and too this and too that. Maybe that's because we're still drained and we just need time and everything. Maybe it's because of our perceptions. So, I have a lot to say, but I'm going to go ahead and read this. She said, come on, fluid. Okay. Yeah, I don't ever want to go through that again. Exactly. And you won't ever have to. I told you we give ourselves karma. Don't put yourself through it again. Okay? Never allow yourself to be taken for granted. Look, please get this deck for yourself, okay? Nobody has to be initiated into pulling cards for themselves. Plus, this is not tarot. It's oracles, okay? But there's nothing wrong with tarot, okay? Spirit messages, oracle cards, whenever you're able, okay? You really don't need them. But this can help you actually give yourself messages. But sometimes it's fine, like I said, to have the therapy, to have the support outside of yourself, to get a reading from someone else. Fine, you know? But like I said, with you, this is just about self-development and learning how to step more into that divine masculine energy and not allowing your divine feminine to be so vulnerable to people who can't allow you to be in that divine feminine, you know? So instead of looking at other people like, oh, well, he had a baby by me, so he needs to take care of our kids too. Nobody has to do anything in this world but die. That's why you're going to have to choose wisely. Okay? Choose people who actually want to be better, do better. They're always finding ways to work on themselves or, you know, develop. I'm telling you, connect with those type of people. I'm telling you, you have something to teach the people. They have something to teach you. Nobody in the world knows everything. There's always something that another person knows that you may not. Okay? It doesn't mean that you need other people. It doesn't mean this. It doesn't mean that. But like I said, I have so much to say. I'm just going to read this for you. Okay? It says, never allow yourself to be taken for granted. It is better to remove yourself from the situation than to be treated less than you deserve. You are precious. You are worthy. I told you. I don't go over here just saying anything to anybody. I do feel like everybody deserves love and they're lovable. I'm telling you, we didn't even have a vocal conversation, and I just knew love will happen for you. Love can happen for you. It's just about we have our own free will. But a lot of times, are you ready for that? Maybe you have trust issues. Maybe you didn't give yourself, you know, there's a lot of things that needs to be taken care of. Maybe you're just still learning who you are. A lot of times relationships outside of ourselves it's not the goal. I'm telling you. Sometimes we get into life and we see on TVs and movies the white picket fence and the dog and the daughter and the son and the husband. But I promise you, there's more things that are rewarding in life than receiving something from somebody else. But receiving it from yourself is top tier. That's really where the strength happens. That's really where the development happens. That's really where the growth happens. I'm telling you. You're always going to be without allowing somebody else to come fill a void that they can't fill. All right? I love you, sweetie. I'm going to leave it with that. I return your energy back to you, and I release my energy back to me. I'm so glad that you came in and joined in. All right? Feel free to stay for the next collective. But we already know we got stuff to do. So by all means, hey. But life, I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be all about work, and heartbreak, and this and that, and disappointment. I'm telling you. Okay? Just look at things as a learning experience. All right? That's what I have for you, love. Yeah, I agree. I spent 4 years cleaning up my friends. And, see? Yep. See, girl, I retired from that, girl. I retired. I'm like, baby, if you don't already come in the energy you need to come in, you got to go. Right? Life is meant to be easy, not hard. Relationships aren't hard. People make them that way. I don't have time to be around here getting depressed because somebody's son and everything else, you know, or their daughter, whatever it may be. We don't got time for that, honey. We didn't come in the world to be people's personal healers and personal God. I told you, everybody can get where they need to be in life on their own. Simple. Why would God even put you in a situation where you have to become stressed and this and that? The best thing you could have done was go exactly where you are now instead of relying on family and all this other stuff. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I literally am contemplating doing that. Literally. Because I was houseless before by choice, and I was living in my car, and then my car broke down, child. So I really became in this space to where I felt the struggles within it. Not having a kitchen that I was used to, not having a shower that I was used to, you know, having to pee in cups and girl. So it was just like a different experience that humbled me for sure. Not saying that I wasn't humbled before, but it humbled me even more when I needed it. So I feel like things just happen when you need it, you know, them lessons and everything for sure. You're so welcome. Me saying in my 20s was for y'all, my 30s. Period. Love that. See, like I had said in the collective, sometimes you don't see the results, but that doesn't mean you're not making progress. You beat yourself up. Little do you know, you've been making hella progress. Even 2 days ago, you're not the same as who you are now. And I promise you, 10 days from now, you won't be who you are. We're always growing. We're always evolving. That's the best thing that you could really ever do. Same. I'm houseless by choice, but it's definitely humbling. But I did it back. I know I'm serious. I'm done. Okay, I hope so, love. Because you're important. You're important. You know? Even if you still have love for people, even if you still are not ready to leave, do it. Do it for you. Do it for your kids. You deserve better. All right? And when you start the process, that's when everything else can start happening. Remember the energy that we had picked up on? So just start the process. And I'm telling you, you won't even feel called to answer a phone call. Shit, you will probably go ghost and never talk to these people again. See, sometimes we don't know things that, exist because nobody talks about it, but that don't mean that it's not happening. It's probably somebody right now who we don't know exists. They probably living their best life, cut off everybody that they've known that did them extremely horrible, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, they decide to remain connected. Then eventually they change their mind. Maybe some people they don't, but I feel like life is what you make it. Do what you feel is necessary, But honestly, sometimes we don't even know what's best for ourselves. We don't even be knowing what we want, so you got this. Just keep going. Love is always, look, see, I'm even purposely not getting into a romantic connection. I need to give my heart a break. Since I first got into a connection, I've always been in a relationship. And also outside of that, you got family that you're surrounded by. You're just never alone. I just crave being in my own energy, crave being in my own space to where I don't pick up on everybody else's beliefs and, energy. I just want to have my own thoughts. I just want to do my own thing, and I want to be surrounded by people who are actually healthy for me. But first, I wanted to learn how to rely on my own energy, knowing that I don't need anybody outside of myself. I've went through the toughest times alone, So it's just, I tell you, babe, I speak off wisdom, which is, I usually say I speak off wisdom and experience, but that experience helped me gain the wisdom. So that's all that I just speak off of. So I hope you listen to yourself and you take heed to these messages, which I know you will. But sometimes we end up going backwards. And I just hope you keep going forward, because that's literally what's best for you to do. Next thing you know, 5 months from now, 10 months from now, maybe even a week from now, because a lot of times it's a mind thing. It could change your life. It's a mind thing. You'll be somewhere in a whole different area and you couldn't have even fathomed it. Okay? So just keep going. Like I said, it may take some discipline. It may take you having little conversations with yourself like, girl, let's keep going forward. Don't you pick up that phone. Let us change our number. I changed my number recently, girl. Felt really good. Nobody has it except for my sister. I shouldn't have gave it to her either. But like I said, you live, you learn, and you'll come into everything you need to know. All right? Just do what's best for you like you've been doing. Don't worry about hurting other people. Because I promise you, you only are disconnecting from people because you have to. So don't feel bad. Trust me. Millions of people are already starting to do it. Because they're starting to wake up to a lot of things. See, we get taught, be religious. God first, family second. When did we ever come into play? Nobody taught you about self-love. Nobody taught you about the gifts and magic that you possess. They didn't teach you about the most important and real things. The crazy thing is you still come into realization about it. That's why I feel like shit, you gonna know everything that you need to know as you walk this path regardless. I'm telling you. So just keep moving forward. A lot of times you don't need other people to tell you things, but sometimes people do come on your journey or you come across them so that you can get reminded of something. Because the answers are always within. Nope. You shouldn't have ran off and attacked that dog. Felt I changed my number to none has it. And I tucked in my phone off. Yes, it make you feel like a little better to not. You probably don't want to abandon people. It's okay. You're not abandoning anyone. See, you was self-abandoning, but when you choose to choose yourself this time, it's not abandoning. Don't tell anybody your phone off. They know why you disconnected from them. They know. And if they feelings get hurt, their feelings get hurt. Who cares? They can't hurt like you can hurt. I feel like a person who actually experienced love before, genuinely, they didn't change because they got in their feelings and they started dishing out trauma to everybody. No, I feel like somebody who genuinely was able to love, those are the people who really know what pain is like. So I promise you, they don't know what pain is like, babe. I'm telling you, they may feel a little butthurt. You may bruise their ego. But see, that's all shallow, don't matter ass stuff. And my apologies for cursing, but girl, don't even worry about all that. I'm telling you. See, sometimes we need these talks. But you won't receive these when you need it if you're around people who lack this type of energy. They lack self-awareness. They lack genuinity, you know? They call through Facebook and girl, I deleted all my social medias. The only reason why I have one now is because when I started getting into like the more entrepreneur route and everything else, I started making profiles for business. So the crazy thing is, since certain people had my number when I was making it, Facebook loved to pop up, you know, oh, who you may know, or like all this stuff. So, babe, I ended up changing that number, changing this, changing that, deleting all the socials, baby. Nobody ever seen or heard from me again, child. Until I came out, everybody like, oh, where you been? You all right? You all right? You all right? What you asking me, am I all right for? I'm good. Can't you tell? Can't you tell, honey? Are you good? Nope. People never gonna be good when they out here dishing trauma to a person who never meant to hurt anybody in the world, not even a fly. You know? So it is what it is, you know. You gotta let people go through their karma. Sometimes people karma is no longer having access to you. They should have respected you when you were there. See, we didn't have to change and apologize and be better. We came in that energy. They say nobody's perfect, but we came in energy that would not have traumatized the person. That would have just made them feel love. And love is the greatest thing that you can ever, it's the most powerful thing. So you just got to look at things in a certain way instead of looking at things from how everybody else are looking at it and what they're telling you. Simple. So I feel like you're doing a great thing for yourself. Just make sure you be consistent in that. For sure. Look, he just said on this song, something's got to change. And Maroon 5 has been on for a while, but I don't know if you want to look at the lyrics to Good Night, Good Night. That's the name of this. But he said something's got to change. And remember, we just did an angel message that talked about change. So I feel like you're on the right path. You're in alignment. Maybe you just need a reminder. Maybe you just need a little bit more, a little motivation. But you got this, Queen. And whenever you do fall into this energy of going back into feeling, you know, unworthy or whatever, because sometimes it do happen. Sometimes it happens. I ain't even gonna sugarcoat with you. Sometimes you do go back and think, oh, did I make the right choice? But when you continue to be disciplined and you go back and check yourself, because them thoughts, they could trick you. They could play games. You know that song, My Mind Playing Tricks on Me, it's a more rap song. I'm telling you, it most definitely can make you feel like you're doing something completely wrong that you're doing absolutely right. You know, I almost gave people my number again, and I realized how they made me feel. Not because I'm being petty, just because I have a vision. You know, I see my life with only people who are trustworthy. I'm not saying people don't change, but I don't got time for all that. I didn't have to change. Like, relationships don't have to be hard. I don't got time to be dealing with those type of individuals. You know? I don't dish it on in the world. Don't dish it out to me. I let bygones be bygones. I don't have no beef. If you pass away, I'm sure I will be sad. But I gotta love people from a distance. Just like you. That even means no communication whatsoever. Sorry. You know, not everybody is comfortable with doing that. But that's why we not everybody. Sometimes when you have a vision or you have a calling to do something, not everybody will agree. That's because that vision wasn't placed in their mind. But guess what? It was placed in other people. That's why when you get on live or when you come on to this TikTok app, you hear a lot of messages that resonate. People speaking from wisdom. From wisdom. I'm telling you. And it helps you get reminded. I'm really that girl for real. I'm really that guy for real. I'm really that divine spiritual being for whatever, you know. Whatever helps. Whatever helps. But learn how to rely on yourself. It's okay to hear these things and need these things at one point in time. But learn how to take that and run with that. And then build yourself to where you won't need outside validation again. You won't need a shoulder to cry on. I'm saying need. It's okay to have. It's a good thing. But need. No. That we got to turn the weaknesses into strengths. I had this number for 2 months now, and I still haven't felt the urge to give it. Exactly. And whenever you do feel the urge, it's probably the past version of yourself. Remember we talked about you shedding off older versions of yourself and all this? So it's a beautiful thing. And this song, This Love by Maroon 5 is also significant. But yeah, Miss Asia, I'll go ahead and let you go, honey bun. It was great chopping it up with you. Thank you for sharing your story and your, private things. I'm sure even the people whose message this wasn't for were meant to come across, A lot of times we are an inspiration to people. We are different things. And just like vice versa, people inspire us. That's the great thing about it. All that jealousy and crab in a bucket energy, we don't got time for that. And it's hard to go a new route when all you've known was that same route for 30 years, 40 years, 80, But you gotta implement that change right now. You gotta decide, you know what? I trust myself. I trust the invisible forces. I'm ready for this. I'm gonna do this. And try to see where that takes you. You've tried everything else already. You tried reconciling. You tried. Didn't work. You don't got time to be other people's experiment until they get better and no, you don't got time for that. You're a human being just like everybody else. We can't forget the spiritual being in a human body though. You're always more than capable. The impossible is possible. That's why I said beware of beliefs that hinder you. It's self-restricting and it's negative based. All right. So yeah, we can forgive with love in our hearts, no resentment, but we also don't have to let people in our lives that can create the same energy from. Now, I'm not saying run away from challenges. Jerry Dunn says to challenge your limits. Don't limit your challenges. But we don't purposely have to put ourselves in the lion's den to turn a weakness into a strength, honey. That's what bumping our head is for. Golden Crown, thank you so much. I've never felt the urge to get one for real until now, which is crazy. I just had opened the app. Love that. See, it's the synchronicities, and it's your higher self to be tugging on you, a little bit. Sometimes you got to be mindful, hold on. How long now? Is this my lower self? Is this the more version of myself that's desperate, traumatized, etc.? Or is this my highest self, my more authentic self? Whatever. I feel like it was your more authentic self. So this can even help you identify what's my intuition, what's this versus what's, something else. So that's what I have for you, honey bun. I do hope this helps. If you have any dissatisfaction or anything like that, please let me know. If you feel dissatisfied or anything, just please let me know. All right. Whenever you get the time, I do have a website. It's in my bio. If you click it and you scroll down to the name and comment area, I'll be very grateful if you leave your feedback there. I will be sure to read it. I appreciate it. Whenever you have the time. It felt like we were on FaceTime and I was like, ooh. I'm gonna start bringing you guys up in the box whenever I do the personal readings so that you guys can be able to talk as well. But yeah, it was great to meet you, and this was a lovely reading. They gonna think we're scamming because you're dead. Girl, look, that's what, see, we don't got time for that. That's what I'm saying. We let people think what they think, honey. At least we going on getting our blessings, right? And spreading it. But at least we know, right? And whoever else is similar to us, they will know, right? Like the similar to the real recognize real, right? So, girl, we ain't gonna no longer be worried about the wrong thing and what don't serve us, okay? Okay, but say hi to the babies for me, or baby, your daughter, the 4-year-old. Yeah, honey, I wish you well. And I guarantee you that's all that's to come. Anything that's the opposite, maybe it's just take a look at ourselves. I'm telling you, we be giving ourselves karma. We be giving ourselves karma for real. You needed this. You were feeling so down today. I'm so happy that you are no longer feeling down. That's the most amazing thing ever. Okay? Thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate you. And I guess I'll see you around, love. I'll see you around. All right. I think I'm gonna get off a live. I know I said I was gonna do another collective, but maybe I'll pull a few cards. But yeah, thank you again, Miss Asia. Take care, love. I hope you enjoy the rest of your lifetime. I return your energy back to you, and I release my energy back to me with the same energy that I've given out. All right. I had said this was gonna be a more smaller read, girl. I don't know how long we was on this reading, but it's fine. I just like to help. And I don't stop doing a reading until I feel like I've said like what I need to say. So I feel pretty, fine. I always know there's more messages to give, so I'll always be just itching to pull more messages, but just so I don't burn myself out and everything else, I'll just leave it at that, love. Yes, that's what I do. That's what I be doing. Yes. Thank you, love. I'm so excited. Thank you for sharing that with me. Because, see, I never know when something is life-changing. Even though I, let people know, life-changing readings, etc. You got to be confident. You got to, But a lot of people, they tell me. They tell me this is life-changing. This is this. So I go based off what the people tell me, girl. Sometimes we are race critics or we lack self-esteem or whatever. So if nobody tells me, I'll probably just have to be confident on my own or I'll just never know, right? But I've been getting good reviews for a while. I never gotten a bad review, so that's when you start learning. I need to be more confident in myself and everything, But thank you, love. Thank you so much. It was a blessing to do a reading for you. All right. Cleansing the energy within and around me. Some of y'all, you got people that's thinking about y'all. They're haunted. They're haunted because you're not connected to them anymore. They are hunted. But it's not your problem. See, the channel song is called Lips on You. Some people just want to talk to you again, feel you again, kiss you again, connect with you again. But I guarantee you these are people who you don't need to be connected with. Okay? Who you don't need to be connected with. Some of y'all, you'll be surprised. This is somebody that you probably not even thinking that it is. Because every time the most recent ex, I'll probably think of the most recent ex, right? And a lot of times, yes, that's the case. But sometimes it can be people that you dated 5 years ago that's thinking about you. People who you didn't even give a chance. Because maybe they didn't step up and ask you out, or maybe they fumbled, or, But I know new love is most definitely significant for this collective. I just feel like people of your past, whether it's friends, family, lovers, ex-lovers, they are just haunted by the good memories because you're most definitely not in their life anymore. You taking back your power and not being in people's energy is putting them in this space to where they're like, man, I lost a good one. Be mindful of people who try to give you props, who try to compliment you, who try to do, because I'm telling you, a lot of times they masquerade as friends. Instead of a friend, they're a foe. A lot of people, they don't want to see you make it. They get intimidated by you. Instead of getting inspired by you, etc., they choose to despise you and hate you. Whole time, they love you. But they don't know what love is. Jonesy, down. Down. You quiet. Told you, bad puppy, you in timeout. My dog literally snatched, and I'm learning how to be more gentle with her because she just needs to be trained more. But this little knucklehead girl, she probably didn't cause trauma to the poor puppy. And the girl who was walking the dog, shoes. We've been in a situation where, but they were smaller dogs. She's not really that small. She's 3. She's small to me. And compared to the dog that the girl was walking, she's most definitely not her size, you know. But, you know, as we talked about with the self-monitoring, how I'm self-aware to where I can know how other people will feel, or I'll know what to say, what to do in situations because I would possibly want it done with me or like whatever, right? This girl snatched off this freaking leash. I was trying to actively train her in the midst of the chaos. And like I'm going through like a lot of stuff with my brain. It's still like trying to heal itself, and that's why I'm experiencing like this memory stuff. So I kind of forgot like what I was supposed to do in a situation. And next thing you know, she instantly just broke off the thing. Is snapped, and she just ran and was just, I don't know if she bit the little dog or if she was just like a nibble, because that's what happened to us when these little 2 chihuahuas, they weren't on a leash. They just ran up on me and my dog, and I felt their little bites. That's how I knew that they were like attacking her. But it wasn't like hard, but they were like biting her. And then when I looked at my dog, it was so surprising because she's not aggressive, and it just made me think, oh my goodness, you are why people are scared of dogs. Because I would have never expected it from her in a million years, because she doesn't bite anyone. So from my like where I was standing, it looked like she was trying to bite the dog. And it's just, at times this type of stuff is embarrassing and everything else. And I'm already going through enough, so it was just like more stuff on my plate. And it was like, I'm a sensitive person, so when I came in here, I guess, you know how when somebody gives you a hug, you just start boo-hoo crying? Or when somebody asks, are you all right? And you just go from to, you know, like it'd be something to trigger something. So somebody asked me, was I all right? And I just started crying, bro. I was in the house, thankfully, because I just hate crying in front of people. Even though I want to work on that more, but maybe because I realized that a lot of people don't be genuine. But yeah, I just experienced like a lot back to back, and I'm still actively in the fire. You can't heal in the midst of fire. That's why I'm wanting to get out of my current situation. But I learned how to make it a mind thing, and I learned to look at things as forgive people for they know not what they do. And you know, the same thing that I provide to you guys, I apply it to myself. So that helps. That's what's helping me right now. Yeah, look, we got unresolved issues. So I feel like some of you guys could be coming off in a certain way, even if you seem disinterested or aloof, right? Maybe you seem like a person that's really cool, doesn't show emotion or whatever. I honestly don't feel like this is your authentic self. I actually feel like some of you guys, you just have some unresolved issues, maybe some type of baggage, emotional baggage, whatever it may be. And I feel like a lot of you guys could be dealing with some type of heavy burdens, okay? But I feel like you're prepared to go into this next phase of life. This has been a long journey for you guys, but things get better. When it rains, it pours, but the sun always comes out to shine again. My phone is currently on 26%, so I won't be able to stay on here for like an additional hour or so, which is fine because I do need to, you know, have a break. But I feel like this was just helping you be equipped in life, right? Building you up so that you can be able to fix yourself or fix things, right? Literally. Because if you kept going the other route or this and that, things were more easier for you. You probably would have given up a long time ago. But the stress, the challenges, like all of these things, I'm not going to say stress, but the challenges and the obstacles, I feel like this has really helped you be able to maintain and to cope. But maybe you're doing it in the way that you still may need a little bit of work, right? Like, okay, you learn how to detach, but maybe you're not detached in a healthy way. Maybe you're detached in a way like, oh, I don't want to get hurt again, so I'm going to do this. That's not really a healthy detachment, you know? So I feel like right now, with the cross coming out, maybe religious traditions or something like that could be significant. Bibles. There's some calling that you have. Like, this doesn't have to be, oh, something outside of yourself said you have a purpose and you need to fulfill it. This could just be you, what your soul is just calling to do, or maybe the version of yourself that you're becoming. It's actually opening up some type of purpose for you. Like, maybe, oh yes, the collective, they fit being a wise counsel because they're wise and they can give advice. This collective, it fits for them to be a mother or a father because maybe this is going to teach them something. Maybe they have something to teach. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. But this also talks about an energy of release and let go, as well as giving up. So be mindful on what you're releasing and letting go. Maybe there's some things that you need to let go of that you're not letting go. Maybe it's some things that you're needing to release that you may not have fully released. Sometimes we don't realize it. But just look at yourself and how you show up in the world. See, we can't lie to ourselves. All right? And don't cheat yourself in life because you ain't getting over on nobody but you. That's like going to the gym but half-ass working out. You ain't cheating nobody but you. You know? You doing the exercise, but you're probably not giving it your all or doing it correctly because maybe you're going to have to put a little bit more effort in it or whatever the case may be. But nah, how are you going to know what you can do and what you can't see? I would have never thought that I could have ran a mile or two, literally running, if I wouldn't have never been pushed. Sometimes we give up and we be like, oh, I'm tired. And the person that I was with, they literally stopped running. When I tell you that them stopping their running was interfering with me, it's almost like I wanted to stop. But it was like something within me that was so strong to just keep on pushing through and going. Like, I would have never realized that I could have done that until I've done it. You know, sometimes you gotta, once again, challenge your limits and not limit your challenges. And sometimes these challenges and obstacles are very beneficial because they teach you things and it helps you be able to operate in the world as this stronger, more developed, whatever, wiser version of yourself. And a lot of times that's needed. I'm sure this older version of yourself your younger self needed this older version of yourself. And it doesn't really have something to do with age. I just want to say your younger self needed this more wise version of yourself, right? This more loving version of yourself, you know? But I feel like this is also where your spiritual gifts has come into play as well. I feel like a lot of times your gifts has already been there since birth, but a lot of you guys, you've come into newfound gifts simply because of the challenges and the experiences and everything else. Maybe that's how you gained this more clear sight type of being able to have premonitions type energy, right? And, you know, not having to know somebody, not having to fully know somebody. You can just meet them the first time, talk to them for like 5 minutes, and you can already read them down. You know, maybe you couldn't do that when you were 15, 18, 21, right? Maybe whatever life-changing event that happened in your life. It's funny how AI says life-changing readings and past. Wow. Not AI, I think my readings life-changing. That's what's up though. But yeah, the past, it has a lot to do. We mentioned that. But y'all got people who's sick. Some people, they trying to act like they ain't feeling no type of way. But they are, honey. And don't allow this to get you flattered. Because I remember I made a video a while ago that said, don't get flattered when people do things that are toxic. They blowing your phone up. They popping up on you without asking. Like, don't get flattered. Don't get flattered when you cut somebody off and they can't leave you alone. It's not cute. It don't feel good, for real, because you're dealing with people who are still, regardless, if they're showing up like that, they're not good for you. See, they miss you because of how you made them feel. They're not going to find that somewhere else. That's how magical and powerful the world is. Because when karma comes, baby, karma comes. They thought they was finna be happy. They thought they was finna get into that new connection with that person that they manipulated. After they didn't built off another woman's pain or man's pain. Oh, honey, you about to go through hell. You put chosen one, earth angel, whatever you want to call yourself. You put this individual through hell and you think you finna just be living the life. Some people, they even experience temporary happiness just so it can sting a little bit more. But people know why you stop talking to them. People know why you cut them off. It's just for you to, like, learn how to normalize not feeling bad. Okay? That's how people become hopeless romantics, because they don't have a boundary with their heart. I'm telling you, do this for you. Do this for you. Look, we got blinders. Victim mentality, confusion, tunnel vision, resist clarity. Damn. Resisting clarity. See, a lot of times we don't do things on purpose. So it's a scary thing and a dangerous thing when you resist your own clarity and you don't even realize it. You probably think you're doing the right thing. Whole time you're doing something that is completely crazy. You know? But look, we got the whale coming out, which ties to deeper meaning, community, hidden emotions, etc. So maybe there's some energy that's still pent up within you that, yeah, you notice or realize to an extent, but maybe there's something else that you don't. That could be some type of form of baggage. Okay? Or maybe you were attracting these type of people in your life. Okay? Next thing you know, you start doing things like becoming violent or insecure or whatever. Now, I'm not blaming this person for putting you in this energy, because a lot of times we control our own emotions. We control when our hand goes like this to smack somebody, right? So it's just about mastery. It's just about not taking things personal. Remember, it's not happening to you, but for you. And a lot of times people don't grow up in the world wishing to be the most evil and hated person. I'm telling you. Sometimes they were a kid like you and they just went through some things. And it's not an excuse, because just like how you went through things in life, you still show up as this beautiful being. Now, I'm not any and everybody else, so I can't say that they knew better. Maybe if I come into another life where I went through trauma as a kid and I changed and I was no longer genuine and everything, then I could speak up on how, nah, these people know what they're doing, da da da. So I can't really say that without feeling a type of way. But that's confirmation that also you don't need proof, you don't need receipts when it comes to the intuition you carry. You can say things that can be very much truthful and you don't need the receipts to back you up. Your intuition is the receipts. So just trust yourself. All right, look, we got master here. It ties to discipline, working smart, focus, structure, teaching, training. Yeah, sometimes you're the student in your life. Sometimes you're the teacher. Sometimes you're a little bit of both. All right, you guys could be learning some type of skill. All right, this pulls up authoritarian. See, I've seen this word before and I always get it confused with the other one that's similar. I can't remember, but I'm most definitely getting tongue-tied trying to pronounce it. Authoritarian. It don't even sound like I'm pronouncing it right. But I'm sure y'all know which word I'm talking about. But that energy is showing up here. And then we have oblivious, denial, narrow focus, out of touch. This is with the same energy with the blinders energy that we was talking about with the resistant clarity and confusion energy. So some of you guys, this could be your energy or it could be somebody else's. Be mindful of coming into this energy in the future. A lot of times we could just be picking up on things that's to come in the future. Okay. Libra and Capricorn energy could be significant. I'm seeing the angel numbers 8 and 9. So 8 is coming up again, which a lot of times people can look at it as the infinity symbol. They can look at it in the form of abundance. When it comes to 9, a lot of people look at it as completion. So I feel like there's something that's completed. Maybe it was a milestone that you reached. Maybe you're actively wrapping up things to come into some type of form of completion. But a lot of times this number 9 is the completion. I don't feel like it's, oh, you're on the path of completion. You haven't completed it yet. Okay, but in some cases, maybe yes. Like maybe in some cases, there's still some things, of course, that you're wrapping up. But okay, so what? As long as we, getting it done. But aside from that, congratulations, we completed something. Something was completed. Maybe when it does tie to confusion or not saying something clearly, they don't have to go together, but they can. Okay, but yeah, just do what's healthy for you. And once again, it brings me back to people that's trying to come in your life or remain in your life, or they try to confuse you because maybe they have good traits and bad traits. Whenever someone has bad traits, we don't want nothing to do with them. Okay? Anybody, we want them to be either in this energy or not. Okay? You can't be both. So maybe sometimes people are capable of hurting you, doing the most heinous things, but they also show a side of compassion at 1 minute. They also show a side of this and that. But a lot of times that could be a false mask. Trust yourself. Look, we got the fishing pole coming out with self-reliance. Okay? You got to stop sacrificing yourself. You got to be self-reliant. There's power in this. This card also ties to self-improvement. So either you guys, this is what's to come, or you're in this energy, or you're encouraged to be in this energy. Okay, we got the hot air balloon coming out. Some of you guys could be coming into some type of air travel, or maybe air travel could be significant, you know, planes, hot air balloons, whatever the case may be. But this is a symbolization of freedom, going with the flow, uplifting, balance, etc. So yeah, this is actually healthy and good. You know, I remember I made a video that said saying no could actually be healthier than you think. You know what I'm saying? So look, and then the song that's coming on, he said everything is gonna be all right. But this is by Maroon 5 still. So this song is called Three Little Birds. I'm just getting those songs. Even childhood games, like or songs like Khadija and Ryan sitting in the tree, KISSI. Like, I'm getting all that stuff. Like, it's crazy. But I feel like you've reached the top of something. You reached the top of some type of mountain. Maybe you thought you were going to have to jump through hoops and this and that. And when you've come into completing something, that fireworks was going to happen. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes these successes are very silent. It's just up to you to realize it. And I feel like some of you guys, maybe you did recognize something, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you're just still in a funk to where you don't see what you're achieving, to where you don't see your success, right? But you do have bragging rights. If not now, maybe in the future, because, you know, everybody, we're in different timelines and versions of ourselves, you know? But that's why I tell people, take messages how they resonate for you. If you know that you still need to put in some effort into something or whatever, then of course. So that's why I said a lot of times you're already in this energy. You will be coming into this energy, or you're encouraged to be in the energy. And a lot of times if it's not your energy, it's somebody else's, or it's both of you guys' energy. And a lot of times it doesn't have to just be one person coming out of your reading. It could be talking about many people. Poetry in motion, exploration, providing, connect with nature, accomplishment, reflection, self-improvement, and capable. You are more than capable. You are more than capable. Scorpio, no, Virgo energy coming out here as well. And a lot of times Virgos pay attention to detail, or they're very like, they be looking at the fine print, honey. They be very detailed about something. So maybe being detailed about something could be significant. Even if it's recognizing like your accomplishments. I remember we had talked about, I don't know if it was in Ages Personal, or if that was in the previous collective, but 986 could be significant. Something could be decreasing, but something as well can also be increasing. Maybe this decrease could be in a good way. Maybe the decreasing could be coming from you no longer people pleasing. Like, you're slowly coming into this space where it's gonna be no longer affiliated with your energy, you know. So maybe I feel like this is actually a nice reading. It's a good reading, honestly. Some of you guys, you're gonna like do poetry. It could be really good for you. Like, just indulge in creative pursuits. You are a creative being. You were meant to create. You know, the world tells you, especially women, oh, you just meant to create babies. We can't create them, so y'all are meant to. You don't tell me, baby, that'll be the last time you ever tell somebody what they're supposed to do again. They'll be sick of me. If I was the only woman in the world, I wouldn't be having no more kids. Okay? They better be lucky. They better be lucky. Matter of fact, It ain't even luck. It ain't even luck. But like I said, it's just an experience for everybody. It's just an experience for everybody individually, and a lot of times it can be togetherness or a worldwide thing. But you live, you learn, you know. But you don't have to keep bumping your head to learn the same lesson that you've already obtained. So just keep that in mind. But I'm seeing that you shouldn't resist something. And it may have something to do with this new perspective, or you coming into this energy of freedom. Maybe something about eating could be significant. Maybe sometimes y'all be called to like say for instance, if you're indulging in negative foods and you just get called to not do it anymore. But you be like, I'm gonna do it anyway. You know, that could like really be significant. Maybe some of you guys, you need to eat, okay? Get some good sleep. It's really important. That's why they tell you, oh, you need this amount of hours of sleep. Then next thing you know, you got people who say, oh no, you don't need them amount of hours. They lying to you. The main thing is, that's why I say it's really important to trust in your knowing. You know, beliefs, they change. They're not all the time. Truths, we just believe in them. You know, we don't have proof that it's real and true, but we believe in them. And what you believe in, you bring to reality. Facts. Some of y'all, you went from being religious, you believe wholeheartedly in that, and you possibly seen signs that it existed. Next thing you know, say for instance, you stop being religious, now you spiritual, and you see signs of that. What you believe in, you do bring to reality. So I honestly believe that you don't have to have beliefs in the world, you know, but I do think that people should be good people, you know. And when I say good people, that don't mean being nice. That don't mean letting people walk all over you. That don't mean, you know, it just means not dishing out trauma into the world, especially in a selfish way. Or, well, just being, your intentions being genuine. That's what I feel like a good person is. Your intentions. Because sometimes even good people, they can, you know, they can mess up sometimes. And I say that in a way that's not like dishing out trauma. Sometimes they do things because they're still learning, they're still evolving, but in their hearts it's pure. Their intentions was always, you know. So I feel like as long as you have those pure intentions, and that doesn't mean that you won't get mad or possibly wish death on people. And I'm not saying you do those things, right? I'm just saying sometimes I don't think I ever wish death on someone. But I think I did say they need to die already. I think I most definitely did say that before. And then when I was talking to this ex-lover, I believe that I had told them, she needs to die. Like, because they were so rude and hurtful to me. But when it came to somebody in their family, who they even talked to me about, saying that they didn't feel loved by them, etc., they'll attack me with a situation with them. It's just they didn't have my back, nothing. So it was just, I was always genuine. Of course I don't want people to die, but I was just speaking off of instant. I told you, like, my moon sign, I'm not saying that this is facts and everything, but it does, when I did look into the energy, that's literally how I respond, in a fiery way. So I'm just learning how to not say the first thing that comes to my mind, especially when people hurt me or hurt my feelings. And this has been ongoing. It's not like the first time they did something I instantly smacked them or went off on them. No. But everything has a deeper meaning, you guys. I am seeing that you're going to be connecting with people who actually are genuine. And that's so nice. You deserve that. Because I don't feel like anybody that you come into connection with, they weren't able to reciprocate this energy. It was very unlikely. Like, they were bound to like remain the same and to constantly teaching you lessons on how to let go and love you. That's literally what the karmic energies are for. But I do feel like everything has a deeper meaning. So don't take life personal, or don't take life too serious, right? I'm not saying lose yourself and just do any and everything, you know. No. This is your life, you know. But I'm just saying, there are deeper reasons to things. And if you look now, you're winning. You're winning regardless. You didn't have to dish out trauma to win. You didn't have to build off another person's success in a selfish, you know, non-genuine way. No. That's why I feel like you guys have bragging rights. I don't care what happened in your life, you have bragging rights. Because it's about your heart. Your intentions. But some of y'all, you're about to be feeling good. If you're not already. And don't resist anything that could make you feel good. Going out into nature can actually make you feel good. Don't resist it. Eating healthier foods can actually make you feel good. Don't resist it. Leaving the country or leaving people behind who are toxic to your mind, body, and soul. Please. That could really be great to you. You didn't try that route. Give it a try. See what happens. Next thing you know, you're going to be attracting nothing but genuine people. And you never going to ever care to reconnect with people from your past. Because you only reconnect with people out of fear. Especially people who are not healthy for you. Like 9 times out of 10, you probably... Like, I'm telling you. That person offered to... A person who put me through trauma. Offered... Like, yeah, I'm getting this apartment, da-da-da. I realized they were still being selfish. Because I told you... at the time, my purpose was not to get another apartment. I already didn't want to work to live in a damn apartment. You know what I'm saying? Just working just so you can make money to pay high ass bills and I just didn't want that. I prefer like on the road travel or maybe moving out the country that was like more cheaper, and then, you know, that was like what I wanted to do. This person, even if I was to get into that space where I wanted to get an apartment, I told them, you won't be living there. So I paid attention to the selfishness within it. A lot of times when you're desperate, when you are confused and you don't know if you should go this way, go that interferes a lot. I'm so happy that I did not go backwards, because I guarantee this person would have let me down again. That's what they do. The people y'all deal with, they break everything they touch. And a lot of times change does not happen overnight, especially for people who actually need serious change. See, if you need change, it wasn't that serious. You know, it wasn't serious enough like, oh, you have an addiction and you be cheating and like all this other stuff. Oh, no, honey. See, what people got going on, it be deep as hell. And it don't take overnight for them to be this completely new person. I haven't seen it. Sometimes it takes people years. Sadly, it's not days. It's not some hours. It's not a couple months. Years. Not 1 year. Not 2. You know? But they can change even... You can have a more stronger impact on their life when you decide to do the things on your part, which is leave people alone. Let them live without you. That's how people literally start appreciating you anyway. They realize what they no longer have, but a lot of times that don't mean that they are going to show back up in a better energy. Just remind yourself on how many times you reconciled with somebody and they let you down again. They probably promised you that they was going to change and all this, and it never happened. So you got to just start learning how to stand on your own, because honestly, if you mastered a certain level of self-love at that and self-respect, you would never go back to anybody, especially romantically, who caused you some type of trauma. Because you didn't deserve that. I understand if I came into the connection and I was cheating or something, and I understand, you know, but if I genuinely loved you, made you feel love, changed your life, and you still... Once again, don't take it personal, y'all. But you still showed up as the lower version of yourself. Oh, you got to go. You got to go. That means you're not safe at all. You can be getting treated the best and you still would treat somebody like crap. You're not safe to be around. I can't really trust you with my heart. That's the most important thing. See, your heart is really important. You don't just use it to love people. You use it to love you in all things. That's how you see the beauty in things. That's how everything. That's how you... really just, I'm telling you, open heart chakra has possibly gotten you where you are now. And when you realize that it gets hindered, all of a sudden you get unmotivated. You don't even be doing shit that's good for you. You don't go outside. You just want to cry in your pillow, close the blinds. You don't want to talk to people. Like what? You go from extrovert to introvert. It's a lot of things. So it's really important to tend to yourself and take care of yourself and be your own. Once again, giving someone the power to feed you is giving them the power to starve you. I'm not saying everybody is going to come around and bite you in the ass. Okay, excuse my language. But the biggest reward that you will get in life is mastering or succeeding in certain things within self. Like, wow, I can actually have connections where we don't have to talk every day. I'm not saying it's a problem if y'all do. But see, when you start craving solitude, especially when we've been dealing with a lot of people who didn't have, who didn't respect you, whatever the case may be, eventually you get into a space where you're like, you know what, I just want to be alone. Maybe you actually don't want to be alone. You just don't want to be around people who causes you trauma, stress, depression, fatigue. Okay, so when you start healing the things that you've went through, some of you guys, you probably don't even realize how affected you become, especially when you're no longer as hurt as the first time around, when it first happened, when it was more intense. But since 5 years went by, I'm good now. Whole time, nope, that same trauma is still surrounding your whole vessel, and it's touched different parts of your mind, body, soul. It's your duty to go within and to heal those things. That's why the inner child thing is really important. And, you know, the shadow work. Because sometimes you're showing up as the shadowed version of yourself. And a lot of times that is not the healthiest version of yourself. It's important to love your shadows. But sometimes those shadows turn into demons. They're no longer shadows. They're demons, and we can't love them demons. We got to set them demons free. We love our shadows, which is possibly the things we don't like about ourselves, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But demons, that's baggage. And a lot of you guys, this was what was inside of other people. That's why I say don't take it personal, because I guarantee you, everyone, I believe personally, everyone starts off as innocent and pure. That's how I started off. You a baby. Like, you don't know what... You get taught things. So if people teach you evil, then okay. If people teach you good, okay. But a lot of times you already are who you are. Your parents don't get no credit for that. Nobody. You are who you are. Because sometimes you can grow up around people who are just unhealthy and toxic, and you don't fall victim into that energy. You've seen it just by watching people and whatever, and you still somehow don't even become those type of individuals. That's how I know people, like, you know, that's what sometimes people say, no, they choose to be these people who they are today. I don't really say, because I don't never know. I didn't start off as a person, I didn't become the person that was so traumatized that my heart changed in the worst way. I've always still never been able to hold grudges and everything. Even people who did the worst things to me, you know. I was always to talk to people again and everything like that. Will I talk to people again? Especially when you go time without talking to people, and then, say for instance, if this was a romantic connection, this was probably somebody that you seen the rest of your life with. All of a sudden, that person who you seen the rest of your life with can go to being a distant memory, especially when you come into a new connection and you fall out of love with them and you love somebody else. You know, your heart is more focused on this and that. Support is here, and it is coming, because you're a supportive individual. You could be looking deeper or encouraged to. And once again, this can have a lot to do with shifting your perspective around. You could be seeing double eights. Okay, 888 could be significant as well. You could be seeing 9s, 6s. Yeah, we got old cart and fish hooks. So old habits have to die, you guys. I'm seeing family patterns and temptation. Don't even think about it. Remember, we talked about being mindful of temptation. A lot of you guys, you just be stuck in the past. You got to be in the present, boo. Being stuck in the past, that's where those outdated beliefs are. That's where those people are who this current version of yourself is just doesn't serve you anymore. Okay? Don't confuse yourself. All right? I feel like a lot of you guys are becoming conscious more and more. The confusion is settling. The awareness is increasing. The pain is settling, but the hurt or the baggage from that is still there, though. That's the crazy thing. See, time can't really heal things for you. It may suppress some things, but it don't really fully do its job. 222 could be significant, which talks about balance and harmony, especially in relationships. And I feel like this is what you guys are able to attract. Jonesy, stop. But a person of fire, usually Aries, Sagittarius, Leo energy, maybe you can have these placements in your chart. It doesn't have to be your sun sign. I'm a Taurus, which is my sun sign. So I'm born on May 18th, right? That's when a Taurus is born. That's why they say, okay, that's your sun sign. Sun sign usually can tie to a person's personality, the ego, and everything else. My moon sign, however, which talks about feelings or emotions, I am more of an Aries energy, which is a fire energy. So you see, it's not my sun sign, but it's my moon sign. So I feel like a lot of you guys, you've experienced death and rebirths. Maybe you've experienced actual deaths in your relationships, and this could have just been as simple as breakups, right? You grieving the loss of relationships and people and like all of this stuff, and that's fine. Like I said, it's stages to things, it's levels to things, and there's also process. Sometimes you can even just, okay, I'm better, you know. Look at AI talking about healing past trauma, shadow work. Comment your experiences. Yeah, y'all can feel free to comment your experiences if you would like, but my phone, it keeps pausing because it's constantly telling me it's about to die. The first notification was the 20%. Now we're on 10%. And once again, that angel number 10 is very significant. 5 and 4 put together is the number 9, you know, which we talked about earlier, which was the energy of completion. And this is Taurus energy, and this is Cancer energy. We got Aries, Leo, Virgo, and Cancer coming out. Maybe the people who you've dealt with in your life are these signs. Maybe you have these placements, or maybe the energy of these signs are significant. For instance, Taurus comes off as this grounded energy. It's earth energy as well. So just take the messages, you know, how it resonates for you. Aquarius energy is also here. Okay. So yeah, I feel like you guys, you could feel trapped. You could feel trapped, especially because maybe people who you gain connections with, or maybe people who you've been knowing for some time, maybe you connected with these people since you were a child. And of course, when you were a child, you possibly didn't hold the same beliefs or values or outlook that you do today. So sometimes when you don't deprogram to reprogram, you can be stuck in the past, whether your emotions, whether you haven't fully healed from something, whether you have these outdated beliefs. And that's what's creating the baggage. That's why some of you guys are probably showing up in life without, you don't smile as much as you used to, or you're not as bubbly as you used to, right? And we don't want to ever lose ourselves, or, you know, whatever. And I'm not saying you're losing yourself. Sometimes we come into like new versions of ourselves that are like important. You're not completely different. Your personality is who you are. Your soul, your spirit, that's who you are. And sometimes you just shift. You know, sometimes you become more in a certain energy. But I feel like a lot of you guys, you go from being less serious to, okay, I'm stern, I'm serious, right? And maybe that could be a good thing in some cases. Because sometimes it takes your sense of humor away. Sometimes it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things, okay? Being numb in the world as well could be significant. All right, it says the trend-setting leader is usually what the person of fire brings off. So you guys could be trendsetters, you could be leaders. However you operate in the world, you can inspire other people to start moving the same. When usually you're in this energy, a lot of times you can have the spirit of a teacher, an actress, an entrepreneur, an artist, PR. Maybe you guys are these things. Okay, a lot of times we don't claim these energies until somebody else outside of us tells us. That's why I don't claim, oh, when I get a master's degree, I'll be a doctor. Or, oh, when I finish this bachelor's degree, I'll be officially able to call myself a therapist. No, I do the same thing that people do in therapy. And really not even. I do it better. No shade, no shade. I'm just saying, because like I said, I've experienced people in therapy before, and it was just completely horrible. I'm like, girl, what the hell? If I would have been mad, if I would have been paying money for this. So, I'm telling you. And then look, this song, it said, I need a girl like you. I'm telling y'all, y'all a catch. You got this big fish in a small pond for a lot of y'all. It's time to expand. And that even means within your own community. See, this community that you've been having since you were a child, it's not community. There's no support. You don't feel loved, etc. So why are you second guessing replacing these people? Oh, because the traditional route, because maybe you grew up religious, because maybe this happened, because maybe your beliefs were this way, but that's not who you are anymore. So you changed in certain areas, but you release certain things, but you still hold on to others. Baby, you gotta throw the whole past away. You gotta heal from everything, not just that one. That's why it's important whenever something happens, you nip it in the bud right then and there. You heal right then and there. Memory loss is a thing. When you go through so much trauma, I'm experiencing it now. Your brain tends to push things to the back of your mind, and it's just a whole thing, honey. So 444 could be really significant. You guys are protected. Believe that, know that, trust that. You guys could come up as confident, a visionary, a catalyst, energetic, and bringing me to this catalyst energy. Sometimes we look outside of ourselves to receive certain things, but you got to remember, you're the catalyst to it. You may be looking into Dante and Erica and whoever else for this love and this support when you're the one who shows up as the love and supporting one. So it's time to connect with people who can actually do that as well. That's it. See, you can also be somebody who shows up as ruthless, but you're just strong-willed. You're just strong-willed, courageous, outgoing, creative. You guys can come up as somebody who's sexy. That's what it says. SEXY, sexy. Very attractive, right? And human beings created this whole perception of, physical attraction. Learn how to no longer be physically, sexually, etc. attracted to anybody, but be more, what is it, sapiosexual? Like, what's your mind like? What's your heart like for real? People, we forget all about that. Because you guys show up in beautiful, top-tier energy. It's very rare to come across it. That's why I said a lot of things that you looking for that rare person the whole time. You the rare person. So if you want to experience this, give whatever you want to receive to yourself. And I promise you, it'll come about. Because see, a lot of us, we're needing to first give this to ourselves before we experience it, because sometimes we don't know boundaries. And when I say we don't know boundaries, I'm not saying we don't respect others. We just don't have some of our own, which if a lot of times that can put you in the energy of not respecting other people's boundaries. If somebody don't talk to you every day, but you a person that talks to somebody every day, you're gonna take it personal. When in actuality, that's just a form of healthy boundaries, because somebody practiced the law of detachment. So I'm telling you, a lot of times how you see things, I'm telling you, your beliefs, your perceptions, or thoughts and actions is what creates your reality. Okay? So for my people who just want to manifest and not really put any effort, that may be why you haven't been seeing the things that you wanted to see. Now, I'm not saying manifestation doesn't work. I'm just saying sometimes it takes action. Just like how before you believed in spirituality or manifestation and all of this, you always put action into things, and that's how you see results. So that's just what it is. If you want to be in a better energy, you got to heal. If you want to see better results within your body on the inside and outside, you got to do some work. If you want to receive this and receive that and come into this more healthier version of yourself, you got to do what you got to, you know what I'm saying? Some things it just don't be handed to you, and just, if that was the case, you've already would have come into that energy, and you would have been in that energy. And I feel like, of course, some people can start off in this way, but then they get lost along the way listening to everybody else and being birthed into certain families that don't hold that same energy. Next thing you know, you get too comfortable with society. You start, listening to the societal norms, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff. I guarantee you, there's people out here right now who they probably don't even have social media anymore. Shit, they probably not even connected with the world. They don't do no voting. They don't do none of that. And I'm not talking about the people who still live in America and they're not voting. No. Or live anywhere and they're not voting. I'm talking about people literally, they're not in that energy. Somebody could have told you that you're the problem. But you're kind. You're sweet. How could you really be the problem? You're a person that's even filled with simplicity. You could be a person that also has anxiety, but you don't ask for much. You don't want much. You just want the basics. And the basics should be given. You give the basics. All right? But some of you guys, you occupied. And you only occupied because of your boundaries. You probably would have been free to everybody. Oh yeah, I'm free, I got time. Nah, but since you have boundaries, firmer boundaries, now you occupied. Now you like, okay, I'm gonna pull back. I can't be available to everyone. And that's the beautiful thing about it, because when you're available to everyone, it's almost seems like your value goes down. Not in actuality, but sometimes with the human beings in today's world and how everybody is just programmed in this whole humans don't think with even 30% of their brain type of thing. It's a worldwide thing. That's when it becomes the Matrix lifestyle and everything else. You know, you just be so caught up into certain things. Jonesy, no. So once again, as I was telling AJ and her read, how it was like opinions are not facts. People can go around and they can try to say what they want, but it don't mean that that's the truth. They can tell you that you're the problem, and your brain can take it and run with it. That's why it's important to stand firm in things on your own. Imagine if you was just so focused on relationships and then you attracted a relationship and they dogged you out and you believed that. You believed you deserved that, etc. Sometimes you may look like, well, why would I believe that? How can... You'll be surprised. You could be the most confident person ever, and right when somebody tell you something, instantly lose confidence. That's why it's important that you guys have emotional independence. You don't rely on somebody else to make you feel happy. It's not going to happen anyway. It don't work like that. So you have firm boundaries, or you're encouraged to have them. Okay? Don't be so available to people. I don't care who it is. Okay? You're kind. You're sweet. You don't ask for much. You probably don't ask for anything. Only thing, just reciprocate. Reciprocate. Look, chosen. It's not on you, it's in you. A lot of y'all, you didn't read things out of a book, babe. Now it's a new artist coming on. This is Rihanna. It says, where have you been? Some of y'all about to meet somebody that you're gonna be like, man, where have you been all my life? And you're gonna understand why you didn't meet them when you wanted to. Because at that moment in time, you didn't need everybody else. You needed you. You needed to build that strength and that, what word am I looking for? I can't even think. But you needed to build that for yourself. Because I promise you, just like how y'all didn't get to build it in the beginning and then you connected with somebody who you probably didn't get to know. So you was bound to bump your head with that, right? It's just you will do things differently a time around because now you know better. Okay? So I'm saying something is over. It's done. Don't go backwards. Don't go backwards. You're building a strong foundation within yourself. Don't go backwards. December could be very significant. All right, Aquarius energy, and we got deprived. See, don't alienate yourself in any way. All right, it says deny a person or place the possession or use of something. So maybe an Aquarius could have deprived you of something. Maybe you deprived or stripped an Aquarius from something. Or somebody who could have been born between January 20th through February 18th. Doesn't have to be. You could be coming up as unique. Forward thinking could be significant or encouraged. I'm seeing something about a distinctive personality, creative and intellectual. Someone who's humanitarian. Someone who's a team player. And I feel like you're literally attracting this energy. See, people can't predict you. They thought, well, yeah, I can just get over on this person. They always gonna forgive me. They always gonna let me back in. Because that's always what you used to do. Now you done switched it up. Now you done did something different. Now they don't know what to expect. Because guess what? That version of you that you gave them is not lost. But you just have boundaries now. Some of you guys found out somebody was cheating. Or this is confirmation that somebody is cheating. But with emotional damage coming out, I feel like some of you guys have already experienced this or found out about it. And if this is future energy, you can prevent this. You guys, I'm so apologetic for all this extra noise. That's why I am working on what I'm working on, honey. Shit, maybe I can leave today, hell, right? A lot of times it's a mind thing. So if y'all hear any cursing or loud music, my apologies, okay? But I'm about to end the live soon anyway. My phone is like on 3%. But you see how I'm up in here and I have my own little thing going? People, they be jealous. They don't care. You deserve people who care. You deserve people who respect you. See, a lot of this is disrespect. And you don't deserve any of that. Alright? So, it says attract or attempt by offering pleasure or advantage. And it's coming out with spirituality. So that's a message. Then we have passive aggressive. At the end of the day, put yourself first and don't feel bad for doing it. And the people who you're leaving behind, they're going to know exactly why you don't talk to them anymore. I plan on not talking to anybody anymore. Honestly, I already was going down that path. Where I messed up at was going back in the past and bringing somebody into my journey. I would have been further than far if I wouldn't have did that. I already know. Deep down in myself, I already know. But it's okay. I'm not beating myself up about it. And I'm not looking at it as, oh, I failed and now I got to start all over. No, I'm looking at it like, okay, I'm starting over, but with wisdom this time. But with this, and that this time. And of course, like I said, we're always still growing and evolving. But be gentle with yourself. Okay? Be mindful on what you pick up on. We got divorce here. People are like really low vibrational, like very idiotic. Like what they talk about is not even important. They be talking about a whole lot of nothing. What does that matter? What's the point? It's like it don't make sense. They be talking about things that really don't matter. Look, haters. So of course these people are going to be bound on misunderstanding you, misinterpreting whatever. It's on purpose. They're haters. A hater is going to hate. An angel is going to be an angel. So how about you attract an angel, angel? Okay? I got to end the live soon, you guys. My phone is going to die. It says imagination. Remember we talked about childlike energy, imagination, etc. And y'all know I don't really like talking about my personal business and everything else, but it is what it is, honey. Maybe in the future I'll end up talking about it, so why not talk about it as it's actively going on? You know? Like I said, I've been a person that got married out of high school. I ended up losing my mother at the age of 19. I've experienced other things that I'm not ready to talk about or share with everybody. But it's just a lot. You know, it's a lot. We all have our traumas and the things that we go through. But that doesn't have to continue to be life. Life can be beautiful. It can be peaceful. Now look, this song is called It Will Rain. Speak your mind. Don't worry, outshine whoever. Because you don't step on people's toes because you're hating or because you don't want them to shine. You just shine bright. Sorry, we can't turn it down. When the sun comes out, you may have to run in the shade, honey. The sun is just shining, baby. You know? So just shine. Just shine. All right? I'm seeing jail or prison here. And I'm also seeing a new person. All right? You got somebody that's lost without you. You may have been something off someone new, vice versa. But I guarantee you, that's why it's important to build this solid foundation within self. Stop relying on family. Stop relying on new relationships. Stop relying on past ones. You've already learned what you needed to learn. What's next? Only reason why you probably do what you do now is because you're so used to doing it. And that's because that's what you were taught. A lot of you guys in this new period of time, you're going to have to deprogram to reprogram, or you're going to possibly be triggered into doing the same things that you probably done before. That's not the version of yourself anymore. My phone on 1%, so I'm most definitely going to have to end this live soon. But I do return you guys' energy back to you, and I release mine back to me, even though no energy exchange was done or necessary. But look, problem solved. I feel like regardless, you're going to come into the life that you've always deserve and that you probably could never fathom. All right.